Welcome to the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast.
If you like a lot of wrestling on YouTube, join our cult. Hello and welcome to the Cultaholic Weekly Wrestling Podcast. You're listening and watching and enjoying the dulcet tones of Mr. Maffew. And he is joined as always by the fantastic, most valuable NFT in the business, Mr. Ross Twiddell. And joined by the one conspiracy theory NXT wrestlers will not believe in mindlessly, Jack the Jobber. How the hell are you, Ross?
Not too bad, Maffew. It's been a topsy-turvy week in the old YouTube game this week, because obviously people who saw the end of last week's podcast will have seen me tease an episode of Straight to Hell. All being well, it'll be out on Tuesday is what I said, and that's exactly what happened. And nothing happened in between, and it was all fine. How are you?
The same. Nothing bad has happened this week.
What? Why is it always me? Why is it always Chris Van Vliet does an interview, goes off without a hitch? Sean Ross Sapp, same story. I come along, the world melts. Fantastic, Why always me?
You got the anti-Midas touch. You're like NXT UK signing great talent and turn them into rubbish. But never mind rubbish, let's speak about good things. Jack, how was your week?
It's been quite a busy one. I did another Desert Island Graps episode that Tom lent me his series again, so that's all good. And apart from that, just doing another Greatest Of, which will be out in a minute. I'm doing the end of the podcast now. I'm doing the plugs bit now, sorry. But yeah, no, it's just been a bit busy, but it's been all right. How about you?
Oh, same. I had the fun of going out and having a drink for the first time since October, I think, because I finally found some mates to do it with. And would you believe it? After weeks and weeks of sunshine, we go out and the heavens opened. It was mint. So I went to one place in Newcastle that had a canopy or a tent, whatever you want to call them. And it was worth it. So I'm in a good mood, pal.
Just watching people sat outside in their big coats in the middle of April in Newcastle because it's been bloody freezing. Can we say bloody anymore? Is bloody too far? I've said it 3 times now, so it better be fine.
Yeah, double down. Honestly, it's been a good week for everybody, but even better week for Ross because you have, as you can see with your eyes, ladies and gentlemen, Ross has had a haircut.
Oh, it's big news, isn't it? Huge news. Yeah. Aye. First one since December the 9th, because I got a loyalty card at my barber's whereby, you fill it up and then after your 10th haircut, the 10th one's free. It's like Starbucks or whatever it's called, some cafe place. Fair. Good though.
Nice. See, that's how we start off the news section with the biggest news, Ross's haircut. And now we move on to the other news. From last week, I believe we finished, because we do these Friday morning, and obviously a lot can happen between us doing this and then it getting uploaded. Mickie James was released. Obviously, that wasn't the news. She was then on Twitter taking photos of the severance bag, I guess we'd call it, how she got her stuff. Other wrestlers chimed in and went, yeah, that's how I got my stuff as well in the bin bag. And then Mark Carano, I believe that's pronounced. Yeah, Mark Carano was released. And Triple H was aghast that this had been happening for so long without people knowing about it, and he apologised. Apparently, Mickie James got a call from Vince McMahon as well to apologise for how this had been handled. So we had seen damage control from WWE.
I mean, it's what that's all they could do in the aftermath of what happened. Really, just let the guy who was doing that terrible bit of business for them. Because I could tell by the tone of your voice there, Maffew, you were a bit sceptical about Triple H not knowing about this bin bag thing, having it been going on for so long. But I brought it up on that episode of Straight to Hell this week to Chelsea Green, and she was like, "Yeah, maybe you just didn't know. It's a massive company, innit? You forget about that sometimes. It's just a huge thing with many subdivisions and all that stuff." So. I don't know. I thought they handled it well after the fact because it's a poo house way of doing business, isn't it?
I'd say so. But we still don't have any confirmation if they did give Mark Carano all his stuff in a big bag or not. So,
did it feel... Because to me, obviously it's a bad thing and he shouldn't have done that. But did it feel a bit like... I don't want to say scapegoating, but they've just released all these people during a pandemic. But then suddenly everyone was talking about one guy and the bin bag thing. And I was just like... I get it. It's not good at all, obviously. But at the same time, I was thinking, is the book being shifted a little bit?
Yeah, and other backstage news. Jason Jordan has been given the role as WWE lead producer in a reported shakeup of backstage personnel. And basically, he's been off TV since, so isn't it, 2018? Doesn't feel that long ago.
3 years ago, that.
Yeah. And other similar things. Mercedes Martinez has revealed her even smarter employee advancements when she was going to be part of the main roster group known as Retribution. But she declined, saying it didn't really feel right for her, and requested she return to NXT. Well done, Mercedes. What a smart business decision that was.
She was in it, wasn't she? She had the gear and everything. I can't remember her reckoning name. Her Retribution name, even. What was it?
Was it Retaliation? I think it began with an R.
Regret. We'll get the miserable news out of the way. WWE referee Drake Wirtz, I'm actually sure I pronounced that surname, Drake Younger, has become notorious for sharing his extreme views online and things like that. Been revealed by Sean Ross Sapp that he was suspended by WWE early this year, but he then appeared with his gear, his WWE refereeing gear, in a Seminole County Board of County Commissioners, hold on, I'm getting that right, meeting yesterday, claiming lots of things such as forcing and normal, I'm not going to even say it because it's so silly. Yeah, I know Pacitti tagged him, was having a go and haha for laughs. For someone who watched him grow up in CZW and then evolve and get himself clean and precise and all the other things, to go to PWG and proper unquote wrestling, and then to do WWE referee stint, and it was such a feel good story. This is gutting. This is just sad to me.
Because CM Punk tweeted, someone said, "What's your favorite storyline in wrestling at the minute?" And he said that QAnon thing in conspiracy group in NXT. So it's not. I mean, it's not just him, is it? There's quite a few. And
yeah,
it's such a. I mean, I don't know. To us, right, as English people, it seems so far removed from any conspiracies that go on here. It's very weird, isn't it? I don't understand it at all, really, personally.
Do you remember when we could just look at wrestlers as the wrestlers?
Yeah.
And not have to care about the human being behind them that sort of hampers your view of them. I miss those days, me.
It'd be weird back in the day, in 93, I'm like, oh boy, I can't wait for Doink to get his revenge on Bam Bam Bigelow, and it's like, you won't believe what Doink the Clown believe. Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See what Doink's posted on Instagram? It just doesn't work, does it? But yeah, I'll get out the way. In Impact news, Big Cass returned as Morrissey. So
W. Morrissey.
W. Morrissey. Do we know what the W stands for?
William. That is his real name.
Oh.
Big Bill.
Big Bill Morrissey.
If he was just Morrissey, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Just comes out as Morrissey.
Yeah,
everyone referred to him on the X. I saw his entrance from the pay-per-view, and everyone was like, oh, it's Morrissey. Morrissey this, Morrissey that. Morrissey. If actual Morrissey watches that show, could there be an issue?
No, surely not. Is it maybe because Morrissey's a bit,
He's an arse. He's a bum, isn't he?
Yeah,
a bum hole.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep my language down. He's a bum hole. Is Morrissey?
He could say something, but surely there's enough people with the surname Morrissey that just go by Morrissey. Do you ever watch Vic Reeves' Big Night Out? Was the one he did before Shooting Stars? He had Morrissey the Consumer Monkey, which was Morrissey, but as a monkey with a big quiff, and he'd tell him all about bargains that he'd been...
Yes, I do remember that. That was a good thing.
I'll never forget Harry Hill do it on Stars in Your Eyes, doing Morrissey, and Morrissey hated it. Because, of course, he went to the age-old, just do that with your voice, and that's Morrissey.
Well, of course, I mean, people are confusing with former Impact World Champion John Morrissey. Also, I can make life easier and just call him what everyone else is calling him right now. The Big Edge. I think
he's in fantastic shape. I don't know what it was from. Did anyone see his interview where he was talking about his battles with depression and alcohol and all that sort of thing? Because I don't know what it was from, but he talked very openly about it and how low he'd been, and then turned it all around. And I think it's a really good story that he's managed to come back from it. I hope he does really well. Yeah,
it's been a really good story. Unlike that main event. Okay, it's a bit of an awkward segue, but I like them in this show. Kenny Omega won the Impact and also maybe the TNA Joke title, I'm not entirely sure, from Rich Swann, meaning Kenny Omega is currently the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, the Impact World Heavyweight Champion, and the AAA Mega Champion, which is their big belt, which is a hell of an accomplishment for Kenny. I don't know what Impact's getting out of this anymore, outside of getting some TV ratings and boost, because I don't think anybody, not even Rich Swan's mother, would have thought Rich Swann was winning this match.
It is weird how he just appeared on Dynamite this week as well, without that title. So, yeah.
One brief mention. Oh, he's the Impact champion. Cool.
Yeah.
Moving on.
And in the build-up to the pay-per-view on last week's Dynamite, it was one mention of Rich Swann. That was it. Why wasn't Rich Swann on Dynamite? I don't know. It does make you wonder. They've got Gallows and Anderson. I guess that's enough.
They just took them and then that was it. Yeah. Remember when it first happened and everyone was like, "It's good. We're going to get the Machine Guns versus the Bucks and it's all going to kick off," and it hasn't really panned out that way at the minute.
It has for Dynamite.
Well,
Dynamite just left them on red.
Yeah.
Another exciting news. Ryback last week asked his fans on Twitter where he should wrestle for next. The options... Oh, sorry, I thought I copy-pasted them. There were a few options that you could select. One of them was retire. This was the overwhelming winner. So
I mean, that's just naive social media game, isn't it, really? Come on.
Yeah, and I'll be like that. Okay, that's a bit, whatever. Then he went, due to fraudulent votes from the last poll, we have to redo where you want to see Ryback return. This has nothing to do with me. It's official vote. We know that people have been hacking this and posting on Reddit and ruining the votes. So he did it again, and they voted retire again.
Why would you put retire in there as this option the second time? Learn your lesson the first time, Ryback.
See, it was like, all right, whatever, kind of not for the first time. Doing it again and getting the exact same result. Now it's funny. Now it's all right to laugh at it.
Well, I only saw the poll itself. I didn't realize he got annoyed by it. I thought it was just a joke, or not a joke, but I don't know. I can't believe he's done it again as well.
Yeah, it's like Canyon coming out and going, "Who better than Canyon?" Everyone going, everybody goes, "No, I'm going to do it again." And I don't want to hear anyone say that. All right. And of course, the biggest news this week, the only news that matters, it is the anniversary week of the greatest promo of all time. Is it Scott Steiner? Is it Hard Times? Don't be daft. When you do that to a man like Stuart Pearce, I've kept really quiet, but I'll tell you something. Yes, it is the Keegan promo. And I think we mention this every time it's the anniversary, and I think we'll continue to do so as long as this podcast is viable. But this has been used so many times, Kevin Keegan going off on one on Alex Ferguson, as an example of like, ha ha ha, what a silly pro. Look at Keegan losing his nose. I always grew up with people, including me dad, loving this promo and thinking it was everything that they loved about Kevin Keegan and Newcastle United and football in general. So it's very interesting to see how many people look at this in a different way. And I remember me dad watching it when it aired and go, after he said, "I would love it," he went, "Yes, get in." Like, that's it. We're fighting. We lost, but we're still fighting. So I'm interested. What do you think about this, Ross, after all these years?
A valiant babyface promo, isn't it? Against the big all conquering. It's like Alex Ferguson is the Charlotte Flair of the day, and then Kevin Keegan was more like, I don't know, he was a young up-and-comer in the female divisions in WWE. Name anybody that fits that description. And yeah, we were the pretenders to the main event scene back in the day with all the money of Sir John Hall and all that. It was going well, 12 points clear, and then it just fell apart, and Ferguson was just, sticking it into KK every single time he could, and KK couldn't hack it, unfortunately.
What about you, Jack?
Well, it's perspective's a funny thing, isn't it? Because I was raised a Sunderland fan, so we weren't encouraged to see Kevin Keegan as a heroic figure at all. So to us, that's very much like what Maffew said. That's like that's a bad moment, not a heroic one. But I can see, but I can't deny. I can't deny. Even though I'm not a fan of Kevin Keegan, the passion's there, the delivery's there. It's all on point. There's even a structure to it with the big lines sprinkled throughout. It's like the pipe bomb. So I do understand why. It's also, I believe, the anniversary of the Ed Balls tweet. Or a big one, anyway. Yeah.
What a week.
I know.
Do you imagine how Keegan would do that in WWE nowadays? Listen, this Sunday at FIFA Presents, the Big Un in Wigan, whenever, we'll be fighting for that title for only $9.99. That's 2 and a bit meal deals. Yeah, it doesn't really work, does it?
I do have to ask though. I'm glad you brought it up. Were you at the infamous Biggin in Wigan? Because I've heard Tom Campbell mention it.
I wish.
Oh, never mind.
I love that. That's his demo.
He commentated on it, didn't he? Or was he ringing
did.
out? Right.
No,
right,
he
right.
commentated. He legendized it.
I've not
That was
seen it.
That was pre YouTube.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wait, Tom's been doing this for that long?
Yeah.
It's hard
What?
easy to forget how old Tom is.
Yeah, he looks younger
How
than he is.
experienced Tom is. Yes.
But I didn't realize he was I didn't realize he was involved with wrestling before. Well,
You
yeah,
would
I
argue
guess.
that he wasn't back then.
Oh, fair enough. Fair play to him. That's good.
Yeah. Oh, and lastly, we also got some wonderful fan mail.
Oh,
One of the magnificent letter we got, but we did get some magnificent drawings of myself.
oh yeah, that's incredible. That's so good.
Look at that. Look, I should put that there and just talk like this and just move the head around. There we go. And I'll puppeteer myself. And
For
also, legit puppet.
So for
Yeah,
Jack.
audio listeners, we're seeing.
Oh, God, yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I thought this was a podcast. Can you audio transcribe it, Ross? You're so good at that.
Audio listeners, we have what appears to be a hand-drawn image of Puppet Jack, complete with Adidas Originals hoodie with Puppet Jack badge and a Cultaholic t-shirt, lovely orange hair and a lovely hat.
That's
Yeah,
right. It's the
it's-
updated one to look more like the real Jack.
It's very good. Does Puppet Jack, the real one, the real fake,
The real
me,
Puppet Jack.
does the real fake me have a badge of Puppet Jack on him, or is that a stylistic touch done by the artist?
Oh
yes.
my god!
Because I don't mind either way.
Yeah,
It's
you're right.
still
I didn't notice that. Yeah, God,
still
you're
very
right.
good.
I'm getting very confused here. Yes, updated Puppet Jack.
Oh, it's a full
Yeah.
tracksuit.
Yeah, full tracksuit.
Oh, wow.
Like, can you see? It's you, Jack, basically.
I
as
do
a
have
puppet.
both components of the Adidas tracksuit, but I would never wear them at the same time. But I can't. I'm not
Well,
going to let
you're
that.
not from Middlesbrough, are you?
Well, yeah. But I'm not going to let that. I'm not going to let that take away from the quality of the drawing, though. It's fantastic.
Yes.
Who did that? Do we know?
Eva.
Thank you very much.
Marie.
From all the way in. What's that?
Even Marie.
Yes, that's right. That's what
She's a
she's
big
doing now.
fan.
Eva, from all the way from lovely Deutschland.
Well,
So
thank you very much for
schön,
that.
Eva. Much appreciated.
Absolutely.
And
Mercy.
that was the news.
Everybody get excited for the Cultaholic Hall of Fame!
Now, everyone's favourite segment for people who definitely listen to the podcast before voting when they get the email, the Hall of Fame.
Right, this is a thing because I addressed this on the Twitch stream on Sunday. I've come to the compromise with everybody in the Twitch chat that Saturday night is the time to publish the poll on Patreon for people to remember what we talked about, because it turns out in the comments of last week's podcast, I learned that people forget by the time Sunday night rolls around what we speak about in the Hall of Fame. So they see the things we speak about on Patreon and they're like, what the hell's this about? I can't remember what they spoke about here. So Saturday night from now on is when the Patreon poll will go live, because I didn't think people would forget 2 days later.
That makes sense.
Oh.
So with that in mind, in condescending order, from last week, 22%, Adam Paciotti's new haircut and beard trim.
I'm shocked.
So am I. I reckon it's due to the fact that the slicked back gel he had, whatever substance he had in his hair, didn't continue for the rest of the week. So people had forgotten about it, obviously, because the 2-day rule, after 2 days, or just before 2 days, it leaves everybody's minds, apparently. I just can't believe
by
that people,
Sunday, they
people
looked on
forget
Twitch
about
and
what-
went, looks the same, me.
I just can't believe people forget about it. I find it unbelievable.
Surprising second place, I thought it was like 1% of the vote, Samoa Joe's Crazy Dive. That, if you remember, maybe you've already forgotten, don't blame you. Samoa Joe was talking about last week about how he's basically lied and let people write their own fantasy fiction about that one crazy spot he did, and I thought it'd be funny to put it in and be a bit silly about it. 34%'s all right with that. I'm much better than I thought I'd do. But the clear winner, not just in the league, but in our hearts, Cultaholic FC.
I can't believe that. I thought Adam's haircut was going to win for certain. But thanks to people who voted for Cultaholic FC, I mean, fantastic. Fantastic scenes.
16, that's right. Huh?
It's because we won the league, basically. That's why. And then we did our end of season awards on Twitch this week, and the comments just turned into a big... Like we imagined, if it was real, it would have been the award. The awards would have ended in like a big brawl. because Player of the Season descended into chaos. Like, there was a lot of arguments about who should have been Player of the Season. So thanks, everyone. I just want to say thanks to all of the Twitch regulars who view that, because they really make the streams what it is. Like, we've given players little personalities and stuff. It's essentially a series of spreadsheets and a match simulator, but they've helped make it really fun, so that's good.
Well done. Top of the league. So, given that you won last week, you can go first, Jack. What have you got this time?
Unfortunately, I feel like I've already nominated this one in the past. So I'll tweak it slightly. Because I'm pretty sure, if not, it sounds like something I'd nominate. Have I previously nominated the song 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton? I must have.
That rings a bell to me.
Yes. I think it was when we did the Clash of the Songs email question. When they said, this is every song that's been nominated for the Hall of Fame. Yeah. All right, I'll just nominate Vanessa Carlton herself then, the artist, the musician. Because Vice are doing Dark Side of the Ring again very soon, aren't they? They also do a series called, is it The Story Of or The Making Of? The Story Of is one of our series. The Making Of, the story behind certain songs. And they've taken like songs that have got a bit of a cult, like Blue Dabba Dee Dabba Die and Shaggy It Wasn't Me and what was the other one? The Thong Song. And they do little mini documentaries on the making of those songs, and they interview people who you've not seen for like years. And it was one with Vanessa Carlton for 1,000 Miles recently, and it was brilliant. And I thought she came across as a very intelligent woman, because they were saying to her, like, why do you hate the song? Because she doesn't really like the song 1,000 Miles anymore. And they were like, but it's made you. And she went, imagine you're a writer. Oh, bless you.
Sorry.
And she went, imagine you're a writer. And bless you again.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to go off camera for it, but it's not working.
It's all right. But I feel rude not saying bless you. Vanessa Carlton was saying, like, they were like, why don't you like your biggest and really only hit? And she went, well, imagine you're a writer and you are only remembered for something that you wrote when you were 17 and you don't think it's very deep or meaningful at all. And that's what constantly gets brought up. And I was like, that's a very fair point. But she did acknowledge that the song, made her. So I'll go for Vanessa Carlton. She seemed like a very nice woman and a very clever one as well. But she's wrong though. The song's a banger. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
I agree with you, and I like that she's almost like Orson Welles. It's like, it's a shame when you peak when you're that early in your career. Which I don't have any opinion on Vanessa Carlton, but because I brought up Orson Welles, I have just remembered the other big news of this week, which isn't my Hall of Fame pick, but could be, that Rotten Tomatoes, which has always had Citizen Kane as the highest rated film of all time ever, because of a 90-year-old review, that can't be old, 90 years, whatever, very old review, that wasn't that complimentary about it when it came out, it lowered the rating slightly, which meant that now the highest rated film on RottenTomatoes.com is Paddington 2. So all we saw on Twitter was, finally, Paddington 2 beats Citizen Kane. And yeah.
We've all been waiting for it.
Absolutely. Get out the red panties. Paddington 2 won.
It's even funnier that it's Paddington 2. It's not the first one. I love that it's the sequel.
Paddington harder. So yeah, Vanessa Carlton, what a great pick. I was second, so I'll go next. That's how it works. In case you missed it, last week, the Josh fight took place.
Can you explain this, please? Give some background.
I would love to, Jack.
I have no idea what this was.
Some guy named Josh initially made a Facebook group inviting as many other Josh Swains, it's like Swan but with an I in it, as he could find before challenging them all to a big old fight. A battle royale of Josh. He pretty much forgot about the whole thing until very recently when a screenshot of his chat resurfaced on social media. Realising he was going to have to make good on his vow, Josh decided to go ahead with the fight, but eventually opened it to anyone named Josh. All comers of Josh. Heavyweight Josh, light heavyweight Josh, mega Josh, they're all there. The battle commenced. Hundreds of people turned up, including the eventual winner, 4-year-old Josh, who declared king of the Josh. And you told one reporter, I like fighting. And this is one of these silly internet things. There's so many of them, and a lot of them go by quickly and you forget about them. But this is relevant to my interests. A silly thing, someone saying we should do this with complete strangers. The complete strangers going, yeah, it's a good idea, let's all meet and do this thing. Who is the definitive Josh? And everything worked out and the kid won and it looked alright. And he also won a world heavyweight title.
Nice. How did the fight, what did it resemble? How did it take place?
bunch of lads named Josh in a field.
Fighting?
Well,
Okay.
not really. Oh, I mean, it wasn't like World Star or anything. It was just, like a bit of a playful.
Yeah.
Everyone seemed to get it. It wasn't like one really serious Josh who's been doing Taekwondo and like, right, finally, been dreaming of this day.
I'd like to think that no imposters sneaked in, not called Josh, but you never know.
Oh, fake Joshes, you mean?
Yeah.
Imagine like if
Foshes.
the middle name was Josh.
Oh.
Can't get away with that.
I would have been all right to see the headline. Little Josh has title stripped, but it turns out only middle name is Josh. So yeah,
It's a strange name, isn't it? Joshua.
Joshua. Is it Hebrew? It's a biblical name, isn't it? Joshua.
yeah, it's from the Bible. You're right.
The Joshua tree.
Joshua.
Yeah, yes, them, the U2 album.
Josh is... The shortened version sounds normal, but Joshua, yeah. Bit of
Joshua.
Yeah, the more you say it, the less
Sounds
it's a real...
weird, doesn't it? A weird thing to pronounce, to move your mouth to.
Joshua.
Go on, Matthew. Give it a good, phonetic saying, like Joshua.
I'm
Strange.
doing the news as if you just want a title. Joshua. Oh,
Joshua.
Oh. I don't think it's unpleasant, though.
it's almost
It's
like that.
fine.
A little reminder as well, isn't it? Like Josh, you are. Like
Joshua.
your name is Josh.
I can hear it in local dialect. Joshua! It's proper good for that. Like,
Yeah,
if you
Joshua.
want to shout your mate across the field. Yeah, Joshua!
I bet
Very
there's
good.
people listening to this who are called Joshua, and they hate this.
Yeah.
They've had this all their lives.
Yes.
Oh, mate. I was going to try and turn this into a conversation about what it's like having... Because none of us know what it's like to be called... I don't know what it's like to be called Maffew or Ross. What's it like? Matthew, do you ever get Matt or Matty?
That's one of the questions you get asked if you're Matthew. Do you prefer Matthew? Matthew, your full name, Sir, Boss, Master. And you're like, no, just Matt, whatever. I'm not that picky. But then you add on the fact that Maffew with F's is the name I go by online. People go, do you prefer Maffew
Yeah, the
or
confusion
Matthew?
there.
And I'm going, mate, you better call me. If you call me Matthew, I'll be really mad. You better call me Maffew. What about you, Ross?
Ross isn't too bad. Like people sometimes, really stupid people sometimes go, "Oh, what's that short for?" Rostifer, yeah, it's a common. Well, it doesn't really happen too often. But my mum called me Ross because she didn't like names that could be shortened. So lo and behold, when I started playing football, my football coach, for example, would call me Rosser. And she didn't like that, did she? So that worked out well for you, didn't it, ma'am? Silly woman. The issue for my name is the surname, because you would sometimes get the teacher who, I don't know how you can see my name with, one E and then two Ds and then one E after that as well, saying Tweedle. And, between the ages of, it wouldn't happen too often, but it would always be a supply teacher, and, between the ages of sort of 10 and to 14, Tweedle said once, and then Tweedle sticks around for a little bit, but then Tweedle goes away. Tweedledum, Tweedledee, etc., etc.
The class aren't gonna. That's gonna send them into hysterics. That at first, especially when a supply teacher gets a name wrong. That was prime comedy.
Yeah. But luckily, I wasn't too far down the totem pole, so it didn't stick. I was sort of like upper middle, so it sort of went away after a while.
Yeah.
God forbid if I was at the bottom. What? That would have been a nightmare. An absolute nightmare.
With the wrestling fans, God.
Just a quick thing then on that little segue we're doing. Do you remember any distinctive or interesting names of people you went to school with? Because I bring this up, at Northampton was there briefly. There was, I kid you not, a lass there. Her name was Alice Cooper.
I was waiting for something unspeakably rude. I was worried that you were going.
Oh no, I know a few, but I can't say them on the podcast. But
Yeah.
the fact there was a lass called Alice Cooper, and I'm like, okay.
Was she born
No, that's a
before or
famous
after
person.
the rise of Alice Cooper? After.
Given that I went to school with her, and Alice
aye,
Cooper's been
sorry,
cracking on since the
sorry.
late 60s.
Sorry, of
Yeah,
course,
little,
yeah.
I've not
Tom
got one of
Campbell
them.
used to commentate wrestling back in the day.
yeah, Hackenschmidt and Gotch.
Luther's.
Favourite.
There was a lad in my who had an unbelievable name of Liez Boakas. That's how you pronounced it.
Ooh.
It's such a powerful name. I don't know what the origin's from or where it's from, but his name was Lyes, Liez, and I don't know how you spell Boakas, but it was said like that. Hello, I'm Liez Boakas.
Where was he? What's that of origin?
No idea.
What? Oh.
No idea.
I had a mate at school. I'm not really in touch with him anymore, which is a shame. But he is of Sri Lankan descent, and his name is Chintika Siriwardena. Chintika Siriwardena. He's got some middle names as well. It's crazy.
When the supply teacher came in, did they call him Tweedle by any chance?
No, they'd call him all kinds of things. Chintake, Chinthake, and he just couldn't be bothered. He just let them call him whatever because he couldn't be bothered with explaining that it's not pronounced that way.
It happened once to me, and it's a comment that might have aged terribly given the state of Little Britain's sort of perception in the wider world these days. But remember the peak of Little Britain back in like 2004 and 3 and stuff like that. One of them said, a supply teacher said, "Oh, Ross Tweedle." And I just didn't answer because I was like, "Oh, I'm not doing this again." And then she was like, "Ross Tweedle," and people were going, "Oh, Tim there, Tim there." And I was like, I just shouted. I was like, "Call me Babbles, darling. Everybody does." Got detention.
You were a ballsier kid than I was at school.
To be honest with you, supply teachers are prey, aren't they? They're there waiting. Just they're not to be taken seriously. A supply teacher comes in, you just exploit that as far as you can, because when the real teacher comes back, that's when you need to be a good boy.
The house show teachers.
Call me Babbles. Everybody does. I used to be able to do it better than that. I've lost it over the years.
The fact that you said that you yelled it at her.
Well, so you get sick of people saying Tweedle. How's TWEDDELL? Aha, Tweedle, eh? Tossers.
On
that lovely note.
Wait.
Oh, God.
When we were talking about the Josh gathering ages ago now, when we were talking about that, I know, and you both might have met him as well, I'm not certain, but I know the lad who invented that "Let's all gather at the monument and sing Toto's Africa." Do you remember that? It was all over Facebook. Everyone joined it. And it was my mate Chris who invented that. So I'm just going to throw that in there.
Nice.
You might have met him at Rise. Not sure.
If I met at Rise, I won't remember him.
A lovely lad.
So, Roshua, what is your pick for Hall of Fame?
So what you want on the poll there?
The Josh fight.
The Josh fight.
Joshua.
Just write that down on my pad and paper because I'm an old man. I'm going to go for a duck, or more specifically, the tallest mallard duck to have ever lived since records began, also known as Long Boy. And no, listener, no viewer. Boy isn't spelled B-O-Y. He's a cool duck, therefore it's B-O-I. Long Boy. He stands at the campus of the University of York in England, and he is just over 1 metre tall, which is 3.5 feet, roughly. He has an Instagram account, which is incredible. I implore everybody to go and search out Long Boy York, LONGBOIYORK. I can talk words. And also, there's been a poll done, which I found, where he's been voted, where is it? The most popular waterfowl by another UK university. He beat out people like the Lancaster Ducks, the Swansea Swans, and the Cathov OU Duck to claim that particular crown. I'm just going for this massive duck because he looks lovely. I think a duck in general. This is before Long Boy came into my life yesterday via Owen. I think it was yesterday on the. It
was me.
Was it you? I beg your pardon. I've just nicked your thing.
Owen chimed in because his girlfriend goes to the University of York and she has seen in person Long Boy.
What an impressive thing that must be. Imagine a duck, Maffew, coming up to your shoulders, 3.5 feet.
What, in a dark alley? Going home one night, I turn around there, it's a duck.
Yeah, but I think a duck in general is like an underrated animal. I'm going to sneeze you.
Yeah. Bless you as well.
Goodness. Thank you.
Is there going to be a second?
Oh,
that was a very
Jack.
dramatic one, yeah. I'm all right.
Okay.
But I think a duck in general is a very underrated animal. Very cute, I think. Lovely character.
Yeah, loud.
Loud, yeah.
But that's all right, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think I'd be a bit creeped out the first time I saw Long Boy walking around the University of York campus.
You might think it's a person in a costume looking at him. He's very upright for a duck, Maffew. It's incredible to see.
Oh, I saw the pictures.
Yeah, very upright, very human-like for a duck.
Anthropomorphic? Is that the word?
Almost, yeah. It really is. Like, is it duck? Is it man? Is it, Michael Cole would say, the big duck? But, do you mind, amount of students that must have gone, sorry I'm late, lecturer, but there was this big duck, right? Oh, did it get in the way? Did it threaten you? No, I had to stare at it for a bit. Massive.
It's incredible, though. So
I like that, like, Egypt has that alligator or crocodile, I forget which one, that's legendarily old. Just staggeringly old. Someone goes, oh, yeah, Billy the alligator, whatever his name is, and that's their animal that everyone knows. And York has a big duck.
But it's
Beautiful.
York. It's so close. We could go and see Longboat. We could go and seek him out.
You know what? Nothing else is open. We could.
Yeah.
We should.
You know how Alan Robson on the Night Owls sometimes goes on location for an episode of Night Owls? We should go to a particular pond in York and seek out Long Duck and do a live podcast with Live Duck in the background.
Straight to hell.
With Longboat.
With Long Boy.
He'd probably say something stupid.
Yeah, and then as soon as we interview him, he goes on Twitter and has a scandal.
Yeah.
He's got a black bar of his eyes, so you don't know which duck it is.
There's a podcast I've been watching recently called Podcast But Outside, and it's two American lads who do that. They just go to different places in LA or wherever they're from, set up a little folding table and have a podcast outside. And then they've got a sign that says, if you appear on our podcast, we'll give you $1. So they get random people coming along and being a guest for a little bit. Very brave, though. Very brave. Like
They're
they do
doing
like
that outside in America.
Yeah.
But can you hear them over the people going, beep, beep, I'm walking here?
It's the other coast, don't worry. So it's like, oh my God. Like, that's my impression of the West Coast.
Oh, sorry. Beep, beep, oh my God, I'm walking here.
Yeah, and you just hear that noise that was used in all the rap songs at the time. I just did Natural Born Killer at the moment.
Journey with me to the binder. Hey, I'm recording here. So, in a very convoluted way, those were the 3 picks for the Hall of Fame. And in case you've forgotten, I'm not bitter, those are
Vanessa Carlton.
Vanessa Carlton, I've got a name. I was going to say the 1,000 Miles Last, but that's a bit derogatory. The Josh fight. And the one that's probably going to win, the Big Duck himself.
Long Boy.
Long Boy. These 3 picks are yours and yours alone to vote for by going to patreon.com/Cultaholic. Please vote, and please remember which one you're voting for.
And if you could remember what things were by Sunday, I apologise that the poll is going up a day earlier, therefore narrowing your window to watch the podcast before the poll goes live. Because I thought I had the sweet spot there, given 48 hours before the poll went live, but no, that comment last week had a lot of likes, so we'll change the ways.
But I also like the fact we're trying to simplify the name as much as possible. So even if you haven't listened or you don't care, it's like the blind vote. You click it, so... Big Duck. I love big ducks.
This is This Week in the Wrestling. It's this bloody week in the wrestling.
And now the part of the show that hits harder than Keegan punching Billy Bremner. It's the week of wrestling. Let's start off with SmackDown. Cesaro opens the show, but is cut off by Rollins, who mocks him for setting his sights on the Universal title because their rivalry is far from our. Jey Uso comes out and is looking to beat up Cesaro, but Bryan comes out to even the odds and talks about how much respect he has for Big Tony. Roman Reigns comes out and talks down to both Cesaro and Bryan before leaving, and Cesaro and Bryan beat Rollins and Jey in a tag match. Cesaro swings Jey while Bryan cuts a promo, calling Roman back to the ring, but Roman doesn't appear. This is all fun stuff, but the big swing with the big talk was beautiful.
Daniel Bryan needs to be a heel manager soon, somewhere. If he's not going to be a wrestler for that much longer, make him a heel manager, because that was fantastic, the way he just kept chirping on and on and on. But I like that opening segment, me. I like the way that Seth Rollins calls him Cesaro, because I imagine that's a rib on Vince McMahon's behalf. I reckon Vince was like, what's it called? That big guy, bald guy, Cesaro. Imagine just that, and then Seth Rollins has taken it and run with it. But I also like the way that nobody's taking him seriously, like Rollins and Reigns. Nobody takes him seriously. Therefore, surely he's just going to yeet Rollins several thousand miles or something at WrestleMania Backlash to make himself a proper main event man.
Do you reckon that's why Rollins is still involved in the feud? Because I was confused by... I don't mind Rollins still being there. I think he's doing good stuff, but I was confused why he was.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't beat him, because, 50-50 booking and all that stuff that people like to speak about. But yeah, I think that's the story they're telling, the fact that nobody's taking him seriously, and then he'll do something to make them take him seriously. Hopefully that's what happens.
Apparently they're like best pals, or really good mates, Rollins and Cesaro.
They like the CrossFit, they like the coffee,
yeah,
and they like the wrestling. So, good for them.
No. Cesaro and Sheamus are best friends. We've proven that.
Yeah.
Miss you, fella. Nia Jax faces Tamina. Oh, steady now, Ross. Reginald tries to help by distracting Tamina, which works, but Shayna Baszler is angry at him for some reason. This causes Nia to take her eyes off Tamina, and she falls victim to a super kick and roll up for 3. And also falls victim to me fast-forwarding the segment because...
Oh, did you?
Because why?
Because why?
Cheers.
Because it's
Don't
the
dodge
women's
the
tag
question,
division.
Matthew. Yeah. Oh, right. That's fair enough. I just like the fact that Tamina overcame the adversity of the jobber entrance, a mountain she has fallen to so many times in her career, to defy the odds and get a pinfall against the all-conquering women's champion of the tag team ranks. I'm just rambling here, Nia Jax. It's just nice to see Tamina doing some things finally, because obviously, opinions shifted after WrestleMania. The entire state of Florida behind Tamina, chants and all that stuff. So go on, Tamina.
I didn't like it. Not because Tamina won. Yeah, that's brilliant. It's awesome. But it's because of Shayna and Reginald. Their argument didn't make sense to me. Reggie got on the apron to cause a distraction. It worked. Tamina was distracted. Shayna pulls him down and goes, "What are you doing?" I can't do her voice. Going, "What are you doing?" And then Tamina...
That was
I'm
perfect,
sorry.
Jack.
No, it wasn't.
But to your point, Jack, earlier in the show, Shayna just shouted at Reggie and Nia saying, "Who, lads and lasses? Nae distractions tonight." So by doing that, Reggie, even though it worked, Reggie defied her orders.
Well, Nia should be annoyed at Shayna. But she's not saying anything. She just kind of looked confused and went, "What? Why have you..."
Nia's got too many issues surrounding men. She's got Reggie coming after her. She's got Angel Garza coming after her. Who knows who's next coming after her?
Dexter Loomis.
Probably.
Enzo Amore, back for revenge.
Back for more, yeah.
Apollo Crews successfully defends the IC title against Kevin Owens after distraction from Commander Aziz. Owens hits Apollo with a stunner after the bell, but Aziz takes out Owens with the Nigerian nail. Sami Zayn dances over Owens' prone body. And Big E attacks Apollo backstage during an interview.
It was a funny dance.
Yeah. The shades of grey at play here was fantastic because despite being the baby face, Kevin Owens wrestled like a heel to slow down the much quicker Apollo Crews. It's rare, but KO is a baby face with a brain.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing.
That's right.
I don't know what... Owens is in a weird position for me on SmackDown. He's all right.
I think he's on the brink of breaking, to your point again, Jack, because that promo he did with Big E just before the match, he was getting a bit a bit sassy, a bit 2015 Kevin Owens, you don't think?
Yeah, I feel like they're always on the cusp of pushing him. They're trying to obviously make him into Austin with the stunner and everything. But I don't know. I hope it works for him, because I think Owens is brilliant, obviously.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said, so I'm going to move on. Aleister Black has a vignette. He gets all Dragon Isu, it says here, sitting on a satanic throne and reading to us from a book called Tales from the Dark Father. He gets very angry and says we should be scorched from the earth to make room for more fertile things.
And he was very sassy when he said that. Fertile things, like me. Like it was really theatrical and strange.
Yeah, bit of a step up from "Please knock on my door," or "Leave my package in the bin outside if I'm not in." And as many people pointed out, I think all my timeline was full of, so his new gimmick is he's Garth Marenghi.
Oh, I need to watch more Garth Marenghi's Dark. Yeah. I've only seen little bits.
It's amazing it was only one series and it's left an impact that people are still talking about it and homaging it on SmackDown.
It was on AEW. Was Excalibur made a reference as well? Because I've never heard that name before. Excalibur made that thing, and I got a few tweets going, "Oh, you need to point out that reference that was made," because I've got no idea what we're speaking about.
That does sound like AEW in a nutshell right there. But yes, Chuck Taylor dove off the Mortal Kombat arcade cabinet. So it was an appropriate reference because Garth Marenghi has a little line that's been used quite a few times for AEW where it goes, I know writers who use subtext and they're all cowards. Because he has to spit in his book where it's literally a thing rather than the idea of a thing. And it was last used when Cody smashed the throne with a sledgehammer. So
yeah.
Anyway.
All I can think of with this Aleister Black thing is Dwight Schrute, though. And I don't know if it's just the glasses, but it's just like the imagery that was used along with the promo, I don't know what, was it sort of Amish, the sort of figures you could see at the funerals and whatnot? It just reminded me of something that would take place at Schrute Farms.
Is it Dutch? What am I on about? No, I shouldn't have brought up the Dutch thing again after last After the WrestleMania whole thing that I did, that was good. Oh, I can't do a Dutch accent. No, I'm just trying to... Sorry, carry on. Sorry, it's my fault.
It's a step up considering about a month ago we were all wondering, okay, so is Aleister Black going to be released again? Is he going to be stuck in catering for another few months? And I was like, no, I'm back. I've got a gimmick where I read a book. Oh, fantastic. It's just because WWE has plans for you? No, it's because they've released so many people, they have to actually use some of the roster now. Oh, okay, great.
I do like how the news reports like a couple of weeks ago were like, oh, don't worry about Aleister Black in the midst of all these releases. He's been shooting some promos with the subject area being his youth.
Oh.
As if they were like, yes, he's going to call on real-life experiences like these funerals that took places in schools with his family.
He was just big, and then all the Joshes gathered for one giant conflict.
All the Eliasters. I did a conference call once that Aleister Black was... I was in a conference call with Aleister Black, and someone asked a question basically saying, like, this was during the whole room time, saying, why are they doing nothing with you? Is that annoying? And he basically said, everyone needs to calm down because sometimes you can't see the bigger picture. You can't see what's in store for me. It's all going to be fine. And I remember thinking, I was convinced by him as well. I was like, he's right. We're arrogant on the outside. We don't know what's going on. Well, it's been a very long plan. Now I'm thinking, was he telling the complete truth there?
But I mean, yeah. Or they're going to say, you're right, it's a shambles.
Well, exactly.
The company that's employing me.
Obviously, he was backed into a corner with that question.
He was backed into a room.
Well, yeah.
Thank you for putting the Dragon Icy reference. Montez Ford overhears Bayley bad-mouthing Bianca Belair backstage. He tells her, and the pair have a confrontation. Bayley weasels out of it, pretending to respect the champion, before laughing once she's gone. Oh, that Bayley.
Classic heel shenanigans there. What a lovely slice of tomfoolery from Bayley there. I'm a big fan of Bayley.
Likewise.
She's like Dick Dastardly or something. She's a really cartoon villain, like a harmless, mostly harmless cartoon villain.
That's it. When she saw that Montez Ford overheard her, she went, drat, and double drat. The Mysterios continue their hot streak in the tag division, beating Otis and Chad Gable, who make up 25% of the SmackDown tag division. It was a good match, though. Someone could complain.
Mysterios never lose, I'm telling you now.
He does get booked strong, doesn't he? Ronald, there. Big old Ronald. But I thought Chad Gable's belly to bellies. Whoa. Best bellies in that match, even though Otis was involved, which is a staggering feat, because Otis has got a lovely round belly.
When you're getting...
The analysis is fantastic.
I tell you what,
I just figured out it was normal from you, and I was about to ask you a question. I went, wait, let that one settle for a bit.
Since I've stopped doing that WTF series, it's made me sort of, sit down and watch the shows in full as I do now, and then you sit there making notes. You try to say, can I actually say something about what's going on in this ring? So it makes you just think about utter nonsense. That's what I'm finding. Utter nonsense. But then you say it in sort of a posh accent, and it comes off as sort of, wrestling analysis. Yes. In my mind, at least. Don't
reveal the formula. Now, copycat channels are going to spring up all over the place.
Oh, no.
I know.
Yeah, it's good to see you hear you analysing bits that you weren't beforehand. Many people loved your nerd rant from last week. Someone edited the audio of Undertaker talking to Joe Rogan something on Twitter.
Someone has, a few people have gone, I think that's what the Undertaker was saying there, Ross. No. Let me clarify my statements from last week. I want, in the main event scene, there to be less nerds. I know I said wrestling in general, but what I was trying to get at was the main event scene. In the main event scene, I want people like The Rock and Stone Cold and Triple H, and Batista and people like that. These big old men, not big sweaty men. I just don't want muscles. I want these people with aura about them and make wrestling cool again. I don't want nerds trying to make other nerds not laugh being sort of the main focal point of a wrestling show, which I think people have confused with Undertaker going, people today are just snowflakes and I like where guns and drugs win wrestling. I don't care about that personally. I much prefer people playing video games and being safer and healthier and just nicer human beings. I just want less nerds doing nerdy things in the big parts of the show. That's what the crux of my argument there.
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
I love it. So it's story time with Jack, rant time with Ross, and I guess puppet time with Maffew. So that's it. With these three elements combined, we are the Cultaholic Podcast. And you must have loved this bit then, Ross. Cesaro and Bryan again call out Roman Reigns. This time he does arrive and denies Cesaro a title shot, saying, not on his level. Cesaro, mate. He does offer Bryan another shot, though, on the condition that if he loses, Bryan will never show his face on SmackDown again. Bryan accepts after some encouragement from Cesaro. That's something a manly man would do.
Way on, he's got a T-shirt that says "Smash 'em, stack 'em, pin 'em," which I would take off the wrestlers on the T-shirt and replace with either pancakes or bacon.
Or potatoes.
Or potatoes, yeah, anything, any sort of nice food. But I like the emotion. This is one thing SmackDown does very well. Is like every party in a particular angle, you can see their point of view. The confliction of Cesaro wanting that title, but then Bryan getting the offer for that title, but not wanting it because Cesaro won. Oh, fantastic! I love the confliction. I love the drama.
Because there were shades of volleyball there. It's
volleyball.
It's true as well, because especially this week, because Cesaro Bryan was hesitant to accept, wasn't he? And Cesaro kind of went, "No, go on, go for it, D-Bry. You can do it."
You ever been in a Greggs with two tills?
He talking about
either side.
When
and
they
you got the big perspex thing with the bakes in the middle, and there's one bake left, and there's two tills, and there's two people who want that last bake. And it's that sort of like, ooh, do I, don't I?
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off, Jack. I've cut you off so much.
No. It's very true. It's very true. It was a fantastic simile.
Yeah.
And I think that the difference between SmackDown and Raw's writing quality is absurd. It's crazy at the minute. Can't wait to get on the Raw.
It's always great, isn't it? Wow, SmackDown had some great bits, didn't it? Wow, the Roman Reigns and the Ryan. Cool. What's next on this happy wave we're riding? Oh, I see. It's a cliff named Raw. We're supposed to start with Drew and Braun versus T-Bar and Mace. But Drew and Braun argue backstage over who needs each other's help, and so on. There we go. Easy for me to say. Braun storms down the ring and takes on both opponents by himself, but only wins by DQ after getting beaten down the corner a lot, and the referee just can't control the man mountains that are Retribution. Drew joins in and we get our original tag match.
Are they Extinction now? Is that their official name?
They're going to be extinct in a few months.
No.
But it goes badly for the babyfaces when Drew accidentally hits Braun before getting thrown over the barricade and counted out. Braun hits Drew with a power slam afterwards and tells him never to hit him again. And you did raise a good point there, Jack. So with T-Bar and Mace now out of Retribution, because they've not got their masks, Reckoning has been quietly moved to SmackDown, and Mustafa Ali was kicked out at Elimination Chamber. Is Slapjack now like one of those Japanese soldiers who still thinks World War II is happening?
Yeah, he's now Retribution. He is Retribution.
Yeah.
Yes. I'd love that to be an actual storyline. I think you're onto something.
Yeah, if they turn this around into a joke thing, like Glacier's return in WCW or something, it's like, that's right, Retribution, baby! People are like, it's just you.
It does make, why are they still called Mace and T-Bar, though? I mean, like, because they cut the promo where they said, no allegiance, no business. But you still got your crappy
no
80s
push
gang names. Hey, we know who you are, lads, and we know where you live. So just go by Dominic and what was his name? The other guy,
Dio Madden.
Dio Madden. That's
Dio
the one.
Madden.
Beg your pardon.
Named
It's
after
been a
his
while.
favourite anime character, his favourite video game series.
Nice. I can just imagine T-Bar trying to convince Vince to let him be Dominic Dijakovic again. Vince hates long names like that. He's never going to go for it, I don't think.
We can
Dio
open
Madden,
So we
though.
can hear. Sorry, go on.
Just saying, Dio Madden, though, that's short enough, surely.
Yeah. I reckon that Braun and Drew must be heading for the women's tag team division. Just based
The
off
women's?
this week's Raw, yeah. Because how could they
they are-
coexist? That is every single women's tag team in WWE today. How could they possibly get along?
Really? I know it wasn't by pinfall, but Mace and T-Bar have beaten Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman. That's a big result.
Yeah, but it's one of those not really a big win for them type things that, come on.
And also, Braun Strowman's now a heel. He's confused, which must have played a part. The way he cut that promo calling Drew McIntyre kid and stuff like that, he just beat the biggest bully in the world ever at WrestleMania. If he didn't win that match, every single child who was bullied around the world would have been bullied even harder. And where's that gone? Into a subtle Braun Strowman heel turn already. Am I right? Did I read that wrong?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And it's
confusing.
But to
Very
object, Your Honour, Drew did hit him.
No, it was accident.
It was an accident, yeah.
Accident, schmaxident, as they say in the legal field.
Braun was coming around the ring, get off the tracks when the pain train's coming through, or whatever.
No, we need a bigger boat, Jack. We need a bigger boat.
I was going to say, Adnan, we
yeah.
need a bigger boat, lads. Adnan's like, I got it. Jaws, right? That's timely. Even Vince McMahon's seen Jaws, right? The big shark. And then Corey said, no, it's not a boat. It's a train. He's like, I remember that from Jaws.
What I noticed during that opening match as well is Adnan really doesn't say much when the wrestling's happen anymore after 3 weeks. As the play-by-play guy, Corey and Byron just literally say 85 to 90% of all the words said by the commentary team, which isn't a good thing for the play-by-play guy, surely.
It's hard to do play-by-play when Vince McMahon's yelling in your ear, the one with Michael Caine was the best Jaws sequel. Elias is Mrs. Guest on Miz TV, which also involves John Morrison and Jackson Riker. They all sing an acoustic version of Hey Hey Hop Hop until they're interrupted by Damian Priest. He brings out the New Day, and they all throw tomatoes at the heels. How dare you write this? Shades of Austin in the beer truck.
No, it was a joke. It was sarcasm. It was nothing like Austin in the beer
I read
truck.
that and I grabbed my chest. Of course, it all turns into a 6-man tag, which Woods wins with an inside cradle on Riker. But who cares about the match? John Morrison got hit low with tomato.
Yeah, that's funny.
Miz got scunned in the face as well.
He did.
Terrible, eh? Reminds me of...
he should have bladed so he could say, hey, did you like the juice?
Reminds me, we had this kid from South Africa in our school year who he wore shorts all year round. No matter what the weather was, he had shorts on. And just reminds me of snow days at school and that guy. Because that guy would have everybody gang up on him, right? He was horrible.
Oh.
The entire school. Because we had like first school, middle school, high school. So there was 4 years in this one school. And the entire school would just chase him around the field, pelting him with snowballs, scrubbing his legs. And obviously me being a bit of a poo house would just stand at the back laughing.
That's all right. You didn't, you
You've got to learn though, haven't you? You can't be wearing shorts when it's snowing. Come on.
Who's this compared to?
Just the people chucking tomatoes at people just reminded me of that.
Yeah.
I did wonder where that was coming from.
I thought it was obvious with the tomatoes are shaped like snowballs.
Yeah.
And we're speaking about people getting hit with them.
That's fair. No, it does work.
That's all right.
Thank you.
But Bad Bunny's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Why are they feuding with him still?
That was
he's popular.
It's the second week in a row where Miz TV's just been an advert. At the start, it's like, we've got the WWE Network documentary. We've got that show he's got with his wife. Bad Bunny's tour sold out. Look at all these good things. But who wrote the tomato? It is a Vince McMahon thing, surely.
Yeah, 100%.
It's even people watching Laurel and Hardy back in the 30s will roll their eyes at this sort of stuff. Surely.
Yeah. When I went to see Macbeth on stage at the Globe, they threw tomatoes at the audience afterwards. Oh, did they? Yes, I met with Shakespeare himself. Of course you did, Vince McMahon. Yeah, and it's weird because they're advertising something that isn't happening. Like, Bad Bunny's not in WWE anymore. It's like when Lana would constantly big up Vladimir Putin. And people I knew, grown men, would go, well, they keep on talking about him, so obviously Putin's going to make an appearance. I'm like, what are you saying right now?
Chekhov's Putin.
Yeah, they wouldn't be hyping him up if he was going to make a cameo. And like, what's he going to do? Just run in, hit some of a chair, and go, "Thank you" in Russian. I don't know what that is.
What's Das Vidanya?
Das Vidanya. That means goodbye.
Oh, that works. That works as well.
A little bit in Transformers.
Luzhniki Stadium.
Volgograd.
I must break you.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. Sonya Deville, who also doesn't speak Russian, brings out Charlotte Flair and reinstates her. So she's officially not a nice person then. I can't believe someone with the name Deville did something bad. She condescendingly apologizes to referee Eddie Orengo, I believe, for beating him up, and also demands an apology from him because she lost the match. He agrees and later officiates Charlotte's match with Mandy Rose, which Charlotte wins. It says Adnan Pierce. I wasn't sure if that was Adnan or not. Adnan Pierce,
sorry.
a combination of the mightiest talker in WWE, is not happy with Sonya for bringing Charlotte back. Charlotte's suspension lasted 1 week.
Yep. It's a classic sort of like, it's just, we're going back to the office once again. Is Sonya Deville the assistant regional manager, or is she the assistant to the regional manager? Because it would seem that she is the latter, and she thinks she is the former. Classic stuff.
But it happened. She's got the power to, but you're saying that she shouldn't have gone over Adam Pearce's head.
I think that's what the story was, wasn't it?
Right.
Adam was not. I repeat, he was not happy.
He did not like that.
Yeah. Crazy.
Do I not like that?
Yeah, I thought that was from something. That's the Soccer AM video, isn't it?
The guy in the tractor overtaking his dad.
It's so good.
Crazy.
Have a go-kart it.
He was not. He was not happy.
Oh, that's so good. I just remember people are not going to have a clue. Maffew, do you remember this?
It's from about 2005, so maybe not.
It's a video that was sent into Soccer AM, and it's just two tractors on a country lane, but the one behind's the son, and the one in front's the dad, and he overtakes him, and the dad's not happy, and it's the son going, "Go on, Dad, way!" He did not. I repeat, he did not look happy. That's just it. Crazy.
So imagine, right? Sonya's in one tractor, the tractor at the rear, and Adam Pearce is in the tractor in front, and Sonya overtakes Adam. That's what we've done here.
I can't even imagine a tractor overtaking anything.
Oh, the video is terrible. The quality of it's appalling.
An 05, oof.
Yeah. Proper Motorola Razor stuff.
Yeah. With the phones that will flip. Oh, they were so cool. Sheamus wants to call out another opponent for a non-title match. But but Humberto Carrillo turns up again. Sheamus says he had his chance last week and attacks him, but Humberto fights back and nails Sheamus with a suicide dive.
I'm fully on board with Sheamus just beating up Humberto Carrillo. Because I know it's an open challenge, but why the hell is Humberto Carrillo anywhere near the United States Championship here in the year of 2021? I know he's got muscles, I know he's got stubble now, and he's changed his look and whatnot, but you might as well have a fan jump in the barricade. You might as well, because Humberto Carrillo is nowhere. He's been nowhere for so long. Poor lad.
Yeah. He's at the... We would have had Tucker do this, but he's no longer around. Well, when's he doing Straight to Hell, by the way?
I'm not saying.
Okay. Ooh.
It's happening, though. I've been speaking to him this week. Yeah, aye.
Oh, sweet. Because I was half joking, but I'm like, that could actually happen, couldn't it?
It's going to happen, yeah.
Hey,
I don't like... obviously, I don't like bigging things up now after what happened this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put that Twitter out. Oh, such a roller coaster, lads. It went so well. She was so nice. We had a nice conversation afterwards. She was happy with it. Put the tweet out thinking, it's a good get for the channel, after the release and whatnot. And then I wake up on Tuesday morning, check my phone for the news in bed, flick on Twitter. I see a comment saying, I can't wait to see the comment section for this. I was like, what? Is that just in case she said something
that's a
interesting at the time?
heart-sinking moment, that.
Yeah, so I clicked on the tweet and then saw what it was in response to, and my heart dropped. And it was a stressful Tuesday morning, and ahhing, right, to actually publish it or hold off. But we decided, people would realise why we'd held off if we didn't do it, so we just put it out there. And, yeah, of course it wouldn't happen to Chris Van Vliet or Sean Ross Sapp.
What I will say...
Well, now you've said that, Ross.
What I will say is that it could have been. I'm not defending what she did or anything, but it could have been a lot worse. Like, she didn't, do anything. I don't know what I can say without risking the video's use of language or whatever. She didn't do something really nasty. Like, it
was crappy of her. Like,
it was, but it could have been a lot worse.
She handled the situation terribly from start to finish. That statement was weird.
She's been sacked from her job a week ago. Yeah. I mean, I understand she might not be in the best place, to be fair, but yeah.
But trust that would happen to me mere hours after shooting a good video. Of course, I'm making everything about me in that situation, eh? Credit your artists, everybody. That's the moral of this story. Is credit your artists.
Oh, aye. We did at the start of this very podcast.
We did. Oh, yeah, you're right. That wasn't even supposed to be a jab at her, but I just thought, yeah.
Bob Dahlstrom.
That's going to seem so...
I should have gotten the picture and gone, who did this?
No.
Braun and Drew both complain backstage and get a match against each other in the main event. If Braun wins, he's inserted in the WWE title match at WrestleMania Backlash. Later, Bobby Lashley and MVP arrive and complain a lot about the possibility of Lashley's title defense becoming a triple threat. That's right, that did happen.
That is the thing that happened. I just love when it was earlier in the night, I think, when Braun Strowman was shouting out Adam Pearce, and he was just like going like the clappers, like Braun Strowman does, just shouting endlessly. And in the middle, he just goes, "At WWE WrestleMania Backlash." Just he put that in there so perfectly, as he would quite naturally. Bloody wrestlers, and promos.
It's been ingrained into us now, though, a bit. Do you find yourself doing it as well on like videos and stuff?
I said the other week, I was mortified when I said legitimately in a sentence to somebody at work, yeah, nonetheless. Went, oh
nonetheless,
no,
that's okay.
Oh no, I would never use a term like that.
What's wrong with nonetheless?
But I never, because I don't use. Oh, did I hear it because I'm a smart person? I read, I don't know, Moby Dick or something. No. I heard it because Michael Cole says it every week. That's why. And I realised where it came from. I stare at my hands like, what have I become?
That's a video that was a good video this week on Twitter. The mandatory parody of Judas.
I like that one.
Sorry if you can hear noises there, lads. Every time Adam Pacitti, only Adam for some reason, messages in our work messenger, I get a very loud notification. There's one again.
I didn't hear it the first time, but I heard it the second time.
Oh, I'm going to have to mute these.
No, everyone's applying to it. They heard you.
Oh, hang on. How do I mute this?
Click your picture. Click your picture at the top.
Yeah, take a shot.
And then set. Well, yeah, it should be set.
Pause notifications for 2 hours. Bang. There we go. We're good.
Is that alright?
I become?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, it's been shut off now. I was going to comment and see if it made the noise, but God, everyone's gone crazy there. Well, this is all very exciting for the people listening and watching, so we can move on to the next bit. Randy Orton bumps into Riddle backstage and says that while they may have nothing in common, he thought RK Bro was a good tag name, so he signed them up for a tag team match. They then beat Shelton and Cedric with relative ease. Why did the Hurt Business break up, it says.
Poor Cedric and they've lost 3 weeks in a row, twice in the same match. At least this one was a different match. And by a different match, I don't just mean different opponents, but a different moves and that in the match.
That's their role now, isn't it? Forevermore, just tag team there to make other tag teams look good because they are both good wrestlers, I guess. It is a crime that they've split the Hurt Business up. Hopefully, this whole T-Bar and Mace thing's a ruse on MVP's part, and then they get them back in there. Although I don't know how that would work now. I'm clutched at so many straws. In my notes for this matchup, though, I've just got written down knuckle sandwich call from Adnan. He really isn't very good. He's got worse since his debut for me. Knuckle sandwich. I can't remember who threw the knuckle sandwich, but Adnan called it a knuckle sandwich.
He really is Mr. 50s, isn't he? A knuckle sandwich, eh?
It's a PS6 brawl here tonight.
Put him up, he said. Put him up.
What was those classic ones? Was a big brawl starting? I forget which territory it was, but they say, "Oh no, Katie, bar the door. It's a brawl."
I love the idea of Adnan's a man stuck like.
Vince getting all the references. Yes, yes.
More Chuck Berry, more.
Oh, he hit him right in his ding-a-ling. Yes, this is perfect.
Oh, good.
He's giving him a big bopping. All right, enough of that. Shayna Baszler actually, go back to the 50s. Shayna Baszler lectures Nia and Reginald backstage, saying that they need no more distractions. She leaves, and Angel Garza delivers flowers to Nia. Nia is pleased before launching them at Mandy Rose. I actually like that bit. That was funny.
That was just walked past her and just went, bye. It was fantastic.
Put them in water. Female dog.
Yeah.
Nia and Shayna then team with Rhea Ripley to take on Asuka, Lana, and Naomi. Mandy and Dana get revenge, throwing a bucket of water over Shayna, which Nia then slips on, to much hilarity. Nia still wins, though, pinning Lana.
Raw is a pantomime, lads. It's a kid's pantomime. We've got people chucking tomatoes at other people. We've got Riddle being like Riddle is. We've got Dana and Mandy, who shouldn't be laughing at anybody, laughing at everybody because, they ran away a couple of weeks ago. And then Widow Twanky, Nia Jax herself, falls over in the water. That's a word I haven't heard for a while. Where that came from?
Wow.
Widow Twanky, who, by the way, Americans. Do Americans have pantomime?
Do they
It
have
strikes me as a very British thing.
Yeah. I feel like if other cultures saw pantomime, they'd be like, what the hell is this?
If we were going to call anybody from WWE the actual sort of Widow Twanky, it would be Vince, wouldn't it?
Who's the Buttons?
Buttons is
Hello,
Mike.
boys and girls. Michael Cole.
Oh, no. No, because Buttons is likeable, isn't he? Buttons the guy you feel sorry for. Buttons is Daniel Bryan circa 2013.
Right.
Yeah.
Likeable, held down. Is that right? Yeah.
Down to earth.
Yeah, Twanky's just a bit of a Vince McMahon from the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Ross, you're saying Raw is like a pantomime. Oh, no, it isn't.
Oh, yes, it is. Get the puppet out as well. Get complete the ensemble.
Oh, yeah, you know,
either of you-
you know, all this talk of Raw being a pantomime and ridiculous, all these stupid characters. I mean, I couldn't disagree enough with this assessment that you just said.
Have either of you been to a pantomimes? I've not been since I was a kid.
I mean, I've not been since I was about 7, maybe. I mean, that's
I was
when you
I was just wondering if
going.
anyone had like a younger cousin or something that they'd gone along with. Because I'd love to go
imagine,
to
like,
one now.
18-year-olds going like, oh, let's go down Wetherspoons, have a couple hours, then get ourselves out to the Theatre Royal, bit of pantomime.
Is that a gap in the market? Adult pantomimes.
I don't know.
There must be adult pantomime, surely.
It sounds like a London thing. I bet there's a London thing.
Yeah.
Like Rebel Bingo.
I remember a friend of a friend who was on Twitter posted one time that they went to see the Chuckle Brothers, but they, as an adult, went to see Chuckle Brothers. I think they took their kid to see it or something. Anyway, an adult was at the Chuckle Brothers pantomime play, and they do this bit where they throw stuff at the audience, and they come like really close, and they think it's throwing toilet paper or something. And then Barry Chuckle went up to this guy and went, "You're a bit old to be here, aren't you?" And the guy apparently replied, "I could say the same to you." So Barry threw toilet paper right in his face.
I've spoken about this before on the podcast, I think, Maffew, years ago.
Wait, before you phrase it, remember that we're not meant to say.
Yeah.
All right.
The instant where Paul Chuckle got a shaving foam pie and proceeded to put it in my mother's face.
For a kid, that's the dream, that.
Because I had a tip-off earlier on in the night, sort of heard the people behind saying, oh, apparently if you sit on the end of the row, that's where they'll come and attack you. So I was like, Mom, can we switch seats, please? She was like 3 in, and then Paul comes down with a shaving foam pie and just goes, wah, right me mum's maked-up face.
Oh, livid.
But of course, the pie is supposed to resemble a cream
Yep.
delicacy. A stupendous confectionery, which ended up all over me mum's face. So that would allow me to say that Paul Chuckle did that to me mum.
Often Ross phrases this in a amusing way, but we're scared to now.
Yeah, we should just to peel the curtain back even further. 3 of the previous 5 podcasts before we started talking like children's TV presenters were demonetized because apparently we spoke about horrible, horrible things. So we're being extra careful about our language. And yeah, that's just
There's
how
a
things have gotta
conspiracy.
be.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Something's going on.
There's not fans of the Chuckle Brothers.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was Paul. There's that guy who said that thing about me years ago. Demonetize him. Claim him every time.
Alexa Bliss is in a playground. Oh, here we go from strength to strength, and claims that Lily is getting restless. Maybe it's time to unleash her on the rest of WWE. So is Bliss just the Fiend now? What's happened to him? Is the puppet now going to feud with someone? I don't know. I mean, I think we've established that WWE just borrows everything that we do, clearly. Everything is better with puppets. Apart from this. What do you think, Jack?
Well, if you're Bray Wyatt, you've got to be fuming. Because you've lost at WrestleMania just on a whim, just because Vince fancied a surprise and went, we'll change the result of that match. And it's left you with nothing to do. So he's just forgiven both Bliss and Orton, has he? For betraying him and for setting him on fire? Was he even on this episode? I don't even think he was on this episode.
He wasn't on this episode. The Firefly Funhouse on the week before, but I don't know what they're doing. It's a complete mess in it. He said he was going, not back to basics, but back to somewhere.
Okay.
Back to the future. I don't know. But this is more shades of Panto, this. The way that she was like, if you just close your eyes and start chanting Lily, Lily, Lily. Audience participation once again from Raw. It is pantomime. But then I started doing it, mate. Did you start doing it watching the segment?
No.
I cacked my pants, I did, when Lily came on the screen. They got me good and proper, they did.
Oh, dear me.
Yay.
Yeah, they go, Lily, Lily. And then they cut to your TV screens, the Thunderdome. It's like, what are we watching?
Oh, but the jump scare, though, Maffew. The jump scare was big.
It was a jump scare.
Yeah. I don't remember it.
Shouldn't be allowed to have that on Raw. Scary.
I know. Well, that's the thing, Maffew. It's like if I'll pretend to be Alexa Bliss. It's like, oh, you can make Lily become a real thing, Maffew. Close your eyes, Maffew. Maffew, close your eyes. Now start chanting, Lily.
Lily.
Lily. Ah!
that was a.
Oh, that's gonna annoy so many people.
I'm sorry to everybody, but that's exactly what we went through on this week's Raw.
It was such a furious show. The fear.
There's a selection of people who don't watch Raw and watch us just because they don't have to watch Raw, so they won't have a clue what was coming there. And to those people, I apologise.
That's a new version of the, hey, watch this video, this advert that was banned. Oh, you never believe what happens when this car gets to the top of the...
Oh, lads.
I'm very easily impressed.
That advert... Oh, there was an advert that traumatised me as a child. I must have mentioned it, the Carlsberg one.
Which one?
This bloke, right, he's this like Scandinavian bloke's driving a big lorry of Carlsberg. And he breaks down and he stops at this house and he goes in, he's like... Can I use your telephone? And this little old woman comes out and she's like, yes, come inside. And then he goes in and uses the phone and then he goes, may I use your bathroom? And she goes, yeah, it's through there. And then she set a trapdoor and he falls through the floor. She covers it up, presumably leaving him there forever, and then goes back and the joke is, Carlsberg, the Danes don't want it to leave. That traumatized. I used to leave the room when it came on. Horrible. Anyway.
If we were doing this podcast about a year ago, I'd have said something there, but I know I can't say it now, so let's just move on.
Okay.
Yeah, how tempted I was just to go wait for the best moment and then the trap door and then just go like that. But that's just the urge. Braun faces Drew in the main event, but MVP and Lashley show up to try and stop Braun winning.
Hang on, what else did about Charlotte versus Mandy?
Yeah,
Most important bit of Raw.
Well, I mentioned it in an earlier bit, saying that later on the referee officiated Charlotte's win over Mandy. But what happened? I've
got nothing to say. I've got mine written down in chronological order. My notes here. But I like how Charlotte's being more psychotic, and hopefully it builds to her going into the loony bin like her dad did in WCW.
And Scott Hall shows up, and they don't mention him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
she's gonna win the title.
That's got legs. Yeah, I'll say that about Charlotte. At least she's playing a bad person now, rather than a good person. Because exactly like the Young Bucks, they're both saying exactly the same things they used to say as goodies, but now they're baddies and it works so much better.
Yeah.
Mace and T-Bar also show up. Not in the loony bin, but that'll be happening in 3 months' time, I imagine. Distracting Drew and costing him the match. Lashley now has to defend his title against both Strowman and McIntyre. Oh, what's going to happen?
So, Mace and T-Bar are working for the Hurt Business. But MVP claims they're not working for the Hurt Business. But they keep showing up when the Hurt Business are out there, so they're working for the Hurt Business. So by costing Drew, they make Bobby's defense harder, because it would have been a singles match if Drew won, but since Drew lost, it's now a triple threat. How does any of this make sense?
It turns out that what I gathered from it is that they're not working for the Hurt Business, and it's all been pure coincidence, and MVP was telling the truth. Which again, which also makes no sense, because why were they coming out every time to help Bobby? Yeah.
The nefarious, evil MVP told the truth and didn't lie about anything.
Yeah. None of it makes sense, no matter which way you look at it. I guess we'll find out next week what the definitive answer is. Maybe. Hopefully. Hopefully. Yeah. But it was I enjoyed the match, though. It was like, Braun Strowman going back to sort of 2017 Braun Strowman, where he would do like impressive feats of athleticism just because he can. I enjoy that Braun Strowman. We didn't pushing over big funny things like Mason T-Bot.
Beautiful.
He made history though, lads. I've got the stat here.
Oh, I saw it, yeah.
Braun became the first superstar in the history of WWE, WCW, and ECW to compete in televised singles, tag team, and handicap matches all in the same night. Wow.
Triple duty, sort of.
It's going to be like Braun will go down in history in 2 weeks' time as the lowest drawing WWE champion. NXT. Mercedes Martinez beats Dakota Kai by DQ after Raquel Gonzalez interferes and beats her down. But, like we said, she's playing with the house's money as she avoided retribution. So well done, Mercedes.
Yeah, definitely.
She was impressive here. Like when Dakota Kai did the leap and knee thingy and then she reversed it into some kind of thingy and then she was doing different kind of throw thingies.
Adnan, is that you commentating?
By Jove.
Knuckle sandwiches?
What ho?
You know at the start of live events when they welcome the commentators do a little entrance.
Yeah.
Yeah, his is on a penny
Adnan's doing the vaudevillains.
I was going to say he's on a penny farthing.
This is a guy on a piano.
Play me off, Johnny.
Oh, ready for some dam busters tonight. We get a grizzled young veterans promo and James Drake actually talks.
Get in.
Right,
Manifest, lads. Manifest. What were we speaking about last week on the podcast?
Just saying, yeah. James Drake never talks.
It's a shame it's not a rhyme, though. It should have been a rhyme. Like, he should have been... I've written one down here, because I was listening.
Have you, Ross? Why don't you share it?
We don't like Lee, and we don't like Carter. The titles are coming home, just like Puffy Varta.
Wait.
Puffy Varta?
Puffy Varta?
Is that Bruno? He's
I've
named
never
for
seen Bruno.
That's how he calls Puff Daddy, is Puffy Varta.
Oh.
Puff Daddy had a song called Coming Home, and the titles would be Coming Home to Zakin because of England.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
That's
as good when you have to
beautiful.
explain it. Like,
Yeah, you tried, but Bruno, my God, what an awful film. What a car wreck.
I put down the first two lines and I was like, I need something to rhyme with Carter. And the best I could come up with was Puffy Varta.
Could you not have put Lee's name last and then you would have only had to rhyme something with Lee?
I could have done that, yeah, but
Okay, sorry.
I'm a bit of a maverick, me. You know?
Speaking of, like, Borat references, or Borat, you know what I mean. What's he called? Sacha Baron Cohen characters. You know General Levy, Jungle is Massive, from Ali G, that song. I heard I saw an advert for him on Cameo, or whatever, say like advertising his own thing, and it's the first time I've heard his normal voice, and I was heartbroken. This was only yesterday, and I was just scrolling down, and it was him, and he went, "All right, guys, it's General Levy here. Just check out my Cameo." I was like, "Oh no, I thought he was Jamaican, but he's just from London." It was a big shame. It was like when Shaggy. You've ever heard Shaggy talk? He's just an American bloke.
Oh, he doesn't talk like he sings?
Shaggy.
No, he puts that on. Shaggy Faber's been broken.
Macho Man is one of a kind, literally. And have you ever heard Sean Paul speak?
Shut up, Paul.
Shawnee Paul.
Yeah,
Gotta
does he
give it
speak
here.
like that? Or
Yeah,
Gotta
he's
give it
like
here.
that. He's
he doesn't sound like Adnan?
Fight me, little farty, naughty, shorty.
I'll give it
Is-
to. I'm gonna give it to.
Sean Paul's really. He really talks like that, doesn't he?
I've got no idea.
You know what? I
think
think
he
it's all
does.
lies, Jack. You've ruined us.
No. Sean Paul's real.
No, I don't think he is.
The undercard's not, but the main event's still real.
There we go. Yes.
Sean Paul, a few years ago, played I've forgotten the name of it, the Telly West Arena. What's it called? The Utility Centre.
Oh,
Whatever
yes.
it's called now.
Yeah.
Utility
Arena.
centre. Yeah,
Is it
they sell hammers.
It was like up the tier, up the side. It was like 80 quid for a ticket. I was like, for Shawnee Paul. In like the year 2017 or something like that.
If he brought out Blue Cantrell with him, then fair enough.
Oh,
but-
what a song that is.
Oh, yes.
Breathe.
Oh, dear.
Thatcher mentions the UK fans chant "shoes off if you hate Gibson." Ciampa takes his shoe off and attacks the pair, who eventually run away. As a lifelong Timothy Thatcher fan, I hated this. He said it's
really?
so unconvincing, trying to go, come on, lads, let's sing. Like that's not what Thatcher does.
That's what American sports fans are like in general, though. It's not his fault. It's just because he's American. It doesn't come off as authentic. You ever watched American football, like soccer fans, like the Portland Timber fans with a massive log? Let's score a goal and cut a bit of the log off. Yeah.
I've seen the compilation where it keeps cutting back to that one. I think he's a Seattle Sounders fan, and he's just like the leader of the ultras, and he's getting them to all chant along with him, and he's going, "Fight and win!" And he goes, "Fight and win! Come on, Seattle!" And there's also, "You're not singing over there." It's so bad.
Yeah, it's not Thatcher's fault. It's just the fact he's American. They can't do it.
They don't understand.
Yeah.
I've recently learned that in like American football and stuff, the fans they'll mingle. The away fans, there's not an away section. They're just in amongst it.
Like
That's crazy.
Like that fake derby in Liverpool, eh? That fake Merseyside derby where they can mingle together, eh?
Well, I live with a Liverpool fan, and he does not like the Ev, as he calls them, the Ev.
The Ev have got no money, and we're all on. I can't say that.
No.
We're all on the podcast. We'll put that in
there we go.
That's
Oh, yes. Yes,
The Ev have
I
got
forgot
no
we
money,
did that.
and we're all
Yes.
on the podcast. That goes up our nose.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's a different version of the podcast. Oh, you're using... Yeah, let's move on.
A chant Liverpool fans do is just to clarify what that was. I don't partake in the podcast.
Someone, as I left work yesterday, someone was doing a podcast right in the middle of the street.
That could be many.
You know what?
things.
I like the ambiguity there, to be honest with you. And me and my colleague just watched it and then did the thing where you have to politely walk around them. It's right in the middle of the street. I had to walk around as they were doing a podcast, and we were both like, and they didn't even offer any podcast. Shocking that. Tony Storm cuts a promo about Zoe Stark, and they wonder why the podcast was demonetized this week, and I have no idea. And says that at the end of the day, Stark will just be a footnote in the legendary career of Tony Storm. Tony then faces Zayda Ramir and loses, thanks to the distraction from Stark. Kind of asking for that, really, aren't you?
Poor Tony.
I'm starting to think that Tony Storm was merely signed to NXT just so other companies couldn't have her. Because I'm not being funny.
What?
I'm not being funny, lads. This was the one to me where it's like you could put anyone in that role. Why does it have to be Tony Storm? Because I'm looking at people on the main roster, for example. There's so many names. And Tony Storm is far superior to them in every single way. Yet this is where she finds herself in NXT. And I don't know if there might be sort of like out the ring reasons with I don't know, work visas and stuff is stuff I've been exposed to this week. Stuff that we don't know about, this sort of has to be taken into consideration. But just looking at things from a purely wrestling standpoint, everybody, how she finds herself in that situation is baffling.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. I was promised that it was Tony time, and it's not Tony time at all.
The clock is broken.
Yeah.
A
was
really
so weird
impressive
because-
shooting star press, though.
Scary.
But the one where even if she hadn't moved, she wouldn't have hit it.
Tony had to save her a little bit.
Halfway across the ring, wasn't it? A bit far out.
Yeah. Just a bit outside. But I'm used to, like yourself, Jack, when Tony Storm just didn't lose any match in the indie scene to where she was, which country she was in. It's like, it's a good chance Tony Storm's not going to.
And she was everywhere. Like, you turn up. It's weird. She's one of the ones, right, that I've most noticed. You know how when wrestlers all signed with WWE, their schedules would become so much smaller. Tony Storm was one of those ones where if I turned up at an indie show anywhere in the country, there was a chance that Tony Storm would be on the card and would always put on a good match. Like, there was no bad Tony Storm matches. So she's one of the ones that I didn't realise at the time, but yeah, I'm most missing on outside of WWE.
Yeah. I miss when beating her was like pinning Masawa.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, oh yeah, Zoe Stark's beating you. Oh, and then this other person's beating you. Like, oh. Okay. The next match is Bronson Reed versus Austin Theory. But before that, LA Knight cuts a backstage promo on Indy Hartwell, saying she can come and find him once Dexter Loomis has disappointed her.
In the bedroom.
Yeah.
Eva Rise then come along and try to cut a promo, but the interviewer throws back to the arena.
Rude. So rude.
I think LA Knight's mesmerising, though, me. Mesmerising. I was hanging on every word I was watching that promo.
He's a bit old school, isn't he? He's got an old school way about him cutting
Yeah.
promos.
Yeah.
Buddy, yeah.
Yeah. I think he's a very good promo, though.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Maffew doesn't agree.
He's not doing anything. I don't like or dislike him right now because I'm just trying to figure out is this what we're doing now? Is this serious and legit?
Were you familiar with him in Impact?
Yeah, and I liked him in that because he was slightly self-deprecating and he was at that level. Dummy,
Right.
yeah, still
Right.
resonates, and he was very good. But now he's trying to be too serious. And if that makes sense, like he's saying the same things in a similar way, but he's now almost too serious. Like, yeah, I'm being. So I was like, all right, waiting for the joke to come round. It hasn't come round yet, so I'll give it a few weeks, see how I feel.
I thought what you were saying there was very just a subtle version of that. It was just like he's still very much the clown, and he's still got big talk, but he can't really back it up, can he? I know he sneaked a win against. Who was it last week? Was it Bronson?
Dexter.
Dexter. Yeah, he got his jacket ripped up. I still think he's a big clown. Just mesmerising.
It's because they're treating him
yeah.
seriously. The commentators, yeah, LA Knight's really good, like, and then he's, get the self approval from Wade.
Was that Beth Phoenix there?
Yes, yeah. Beth is some beautiful day.
One thing with Stewart's a big difference to Nigel is Nigel always would get behind the heel, but also tell you why the babyface was good. Whereas Wade very much gets behind the heel no matter what's going to happen and doesn't do anything for the babyface. And I missed Nigel on commentary after that.
That's a really good point. Because Wade's not a bad. I like him on commentary. Someone's just dropped something. Did you hear that?
Was it Owen?
No, it was from. I'll just give him a text to make sure he's all right. But no,
Heard you
it sounded
talking, he's going to drop ye.
Sounded like it was from upstairs. He heard mention of Everton and he just lost his mind. Did you hear that?
What about that match with Austin Theory? Did we speak about that? I've just gone blank.
We're about to.
That's coming up. That's coming up. Yeah.
Yes,
Because
during
this was a bit convoluted, so I had to word it in a certain way.
Oh, I was Spaghetti Junction. During Reed versus Theory, Loomis comes down to ringside to follow Indy, but she's not interested anymore, saying he talks too much.
Hey,
Pause for applause. Yes, that's my thing. Yeah, I DM'd her saying cheers for killing my mentions, and she replied, lol. So thank you, Indy.
Great.
Yeah. Breaking news. Loomis saves Indy from taking a bump off the apron, and Reed wins to become number one contender to Gargano's title.
Candice is stitching up Indy Hartwell here, and I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it. She's the one, in my opinion, who sent those flowers to Shotzi and Ember from Dexter, just to get at Indy, just so she can keep Indy as her own.
I was so confused, but how have I not realised that? That makes perfect sense. Yes.
Yeah. Bloody Candice. Who do you think she is, eh? Getting in the way of true love. That female dog. We can't say the word, can we?
That Jezebel.
That's it.
More Adnan.
More Adnan, yes.
That's
Take a shot every time Adnan appears.
We're going to go
She
down
shouldn't
this
concern
route
herself
again.
with...
That Nier Duella. Remember that one
Yeah.
from the
Yes.
podcast from years? What came next?
Who knows? Drake Maverick and Killian Dane face Imperium, with Maverick constantly paranoid about Dane betraying him and joining his old friend Alexander Wolf. Dane does not switch sides, but Imperium win anyway.
Drake's trousers nearly came off. His button broke. His winky nearly came out, which would have been totalario. But
Call that
yeah,
a high spot in NXT.
Drake's becoming more paranoid, isn't he? He's watched wrestling before. He's the only wrestler who has watched wrestling before and knows how things happen. And I like that.
I don't blame him. As someone who's been betrayed by Killian Dane myself...
Oh, that's right.
Oh, sorry, no. But it was good. I'm enjoying it. Generally, does anyone feel as though NXT might be getting itself a bit more back on track?
There's
Or is
certain bits of it, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm
Certain
finding
bit-
parts of it really exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
Have that charm that NXT had years ago. Like Drake, I think the way, I know Maffew won't agree, but I think the way's got that certain bit of charm that NXT 2015 had.
I don't think I'm not... For me, it's like Drake Maverick Day, but then you've got the serious bits as well. I feel like it's generally in a bit of a better place now than it was maybe a year ago.
Well, I watched it this week and last week, so yeah, must be an improvement. Over, no, I didn't because AEW was on. Now it's on Tuesday. It's like, oh, I have to watch it now. But it's when you go in with that level of expectation, you can only be not disappointed. Where are we at?
After Dane and Drake.
Thank you. Cameron
Dunn's
Grimes is in a
promo.
jewellery store buying a very expensive gold watch. he's interrupted by someone with an even more expensive watch. It's Ted DiBiase. The good one, not the one who's currently...
Senior.
Yes, not the one who's currently being investigated for that enormous amount of money.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Because it wasn't just... It was like a footnote, but then it was just like, no, millions we're talking about here. It's like, okay. Grimes is furious. You know what was funny about the segment? No, not Ted DiBiase showing up. They showed bits where he's like, wow, look at this watch. I've got money. And then Ted DiBiase does his bit, and then Ted DiBiase leaves, and suddenly it's night. This was maybe 30 seconds long, and it looked like it took them 12 hours to shoot it.
And I'm guessing that probably wasn't Grimes' fault. He was probably on point.
Oh, yeah.
No, I reckon Cameron Grimes is a perfectionist. He needs to get that line right.
Let me do that again. Take 2.
I'm here to get something nice for somebody. Then the guy goes, hey, you got somebody special? He goes, yeah, I do. Me. It's a good line, that.
That was good, Ross. I like that.
I think he's one of the best things about NXT.
Of course he is. He's the highlight.
Yeah. I had a very awkward conversation with him at that Wrestling Media Con. Because I was a huge fan. I was like, oh my God, he's so good. He's so funny. He's a great heel. And I didn't realise he was there. And I turned around and he was there, and I nearly physically bumped into him. So I had to say something. I was like, oh, I didn't realise you were here. As if I knew him. And he just looked at me like, what? And I was like, are you? And then I had to think of something to say. And I've never felt so... and by this point, I'd been around wrestlers and that as well. And I knew what to say and what not to say. And I found out of my mouth, I heard come out, are you doing Battle of LA this year? And I was like, Jack, why have you talked about wrestling to the wrestler? And then he went kind of like, yeah, I am, yeah. And then just turned and walked off. And I was like, I can't blame you, mate. I've never fumbled it so badly. And every time I see him on my screens, I'm like, if he remembers that, he'll think I'm an absolute idiot. Yeah.
I love you sharing that lovely awkward story, because wrestlers love it if you go, wow, you're here?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh.
You're booked. Oh. Good to see you.
In England? What, you?
Did you fly over? Oh, go get
how was your flight? Was it okay?
Was it long? Did you watch Toy Story 3?
Are you doing Battle of LA later on in the year? Oh, God.
Can I sniff your jockstrap? Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon are set to face Alia and Jessie Kamea of the Robert Stone brand. Before the match can begin, the champions are handed flowers and chocolates by the ringside crew. Pervert. Oh, sorry, presumably from Dexter Lumis. There we go.
Oh, if Ross's theory is correct, presumably from Candice LeRae.
That's just a theory, a Ross theory. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell attack, beating them down and causing the match to be called off. Robert Stone celebrates with his team and the women's tag titles in the ring because he's never seen wrestling before and doesn't understand that they're not new champions. There's a lot of nerds in NXT, isn't there?
But it's okay when it's people like Robert Stone because he's not the main event. If Adam Cole was doing that kind of stuff, then we've got an issue with the nerds.
The nerds.
You know Sorry, I was going to say, have you seen the Simpsons episode where Homer goes back to college and just can't contain his rage at all the nerds? And he's in the car and this guy with glasses walks past. No!
If someone could do that with Ross.
Yeah.
Please. Adam Cole does a sit-down interview and says that Kyle O'Reilly got lucky in their match at Stand and Deliver. He says Kyle will never take his spot as long as he's still in NXT. Which apparently is forever, by looks of things. Cole also says that if and when he decides to take back the NXT title, the clock will be ticking for Karrion Kross. Ooh. O'Reilly is shown watching the interview and looking very Karrion Kross indeed. Thank you for the wordplay.
And also like a lumberjack. He's got a new gimmick already.
Well, after last week's Wish.com Orange Cassidy, I'm glad.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know why Adam Cole's back on NXT. He's done everything. Done everything you possibly do.
I'm scared for him if he goes into the main roster, though.
He has got little arms.
Vince is going to hate him. Yeah. Oh.
Oh, why is that? Because he was in NXT. That's right. If you don't believe us, ask Keith Lee.
Wait, what? Oh, just because of the way he's been treated. I thought Keith Lee I thought he'd been shooting.
They need to sort that system out. Because obviously Triple H and his pals are in charge of NXT. Vince and his pals are charged of the main roster. Need more synergy.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's like it's just synergy in it. It's like, oh, they've built one thing, and then Vince McMahon sees something else, and then just knocks down everything that's been built. Sort it out, man, lads.
It's not going to happen though, is it? Because can you imagine Triple H and Shawn Michaels going, "There's this really good guy from NXT. We think you could really use him." And then can you imagine Vince and Brucey P sitting there, probably like, he's 5'7"? Like they're just not gonna. I don't know.
I think like Vince McMahon likes destroying what Triple H creates.
Owen's replied about the bang before the noise.
Oh, breaking news.
I put, did you hear that? And he put, sorry, that might have been me, haha. Well,
Awesome. More in the story as it breaks.
But it sounded like it was from upstairs. And he's typing. Sorry,
The call came from inside the house. In a very Fast and Furious main event, Escobar, Wilde, and Mendoza beat Kushida and MSK. Spot, spot, spot. Move, move, move. Yay, yay, yay.
Yeah.
Legado looked vicious. It was weird, though, because I was thinking it's a weird choice for a main event, but then you realise that, like, for whatever reason, Adam Cole wasn't on site, Kyle wasn't on site, Cross wasn't on site, Balor was on his holidays. Everyone was gone this week, presumably. I don't know for sure.
Well, on Raw, AJ Styles and Omos, the tag team champions, weren't there. The Fiend is fiending it up somewhere else. A lot of people not there. So we can speculate as much as possible for the clicks.
The bang noise, by the way, was
here we go.
some stuff decided to fall off the shelf in the bathroom when I grabbed something.
So Owen knocked it off the shelf.
Yeah, no, it decided to fall off.
I do have that in my place. I'll hear a thump and go, oh my God, what is that? Someone's broken in via the bathroom. You get the idea of like some prisoners are just dug up through wherever, and then like finally this popped up in the toilet.
The shelf?
Yeah, and it's just...
There's not a shelf in the bathroom.
No, like we put a thing attached to the shower.
Oh,
shower shelf.
Might have been that.
Yeah.
We've not got what I'd call a shelf in the bathroom.
Do you have a shower caddy? I have a shower caddy.
No, I don't.
Shower caddy. How does that work?
Yeah, you've got
Like a golf bag.
The glass thing there. It's called a shower caddy. It's just like a metal thing you hook onto the glass panel. What's it called? The shield.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's that called?
It's like a new age. It's what's replaced the shower curtain, isn't it?
I want the alternative to the shower curtain, the shower glass, which is there. You just hook it on, and it's called a shower caddy, and that's where I keep my shower gels, and my hair shampoo, and my Body Shop face soap.
Oh, this is very reminiscent of that program. This Is My House, when they go around telling. You'd be good on that.
Do you have a shower curtain or a shower glass?
We've got glass.
Oh, Maffew?
Shower glass. Nothing
Shower
but the best.
3 shower glasses there? That can't be too common.
No cares for privacy in this podcast, apparently.
I much prefer a shower curtain, lads. I've got to be honest with you, because it does keep the water in better than the shower glass. Because as we all know, the shower glass only goes so far. Mine only goes less than halfway across the bath.
My mum and dad they've got neither a shower curtain nor a shower glass.
They haven't got doors, have they? Don't tell me they've got doors.
No. So they've recently redone the bathroom. Or when I say recently, about a year and a half ago, but I've only been to see them like once since then. So the shower is now round a corner, and it's just a walk-in. It's bizarre.
But it's a full-on shower room.
No, it's not a room. It's just part of the bathroom still, but it's like round in its own little alcove out of the view of the rest of the bathroom. So it's mad. It's good though. The quality of the shower, I was blown away. But it felt wrong. It felt wrong not closing or shutting anything behind you when you went in. It was weird.
The NXT main event was good this week.
NXT main event was so good we didn't spend any time on it whatsoever.
Yeah, it was fun.
We should ask them. We should DM those lads, the MSK lads. I think one of them follows me and goes, "Do you have a shower curtain or a shower caddy?"
We should come to the podcast each week having asked a wrestler, shower curtain or shower.
The most boring questions possible. What do you have in your meal deal?
Hey,
that's a shot fired at the Jackmate podcast there.
I got an update.
Sorry.
Certain people might be asked about that video I did over Christmas where I DM'd all the wrestlers and did that YouTube trend.
Oh, yeah.
I got a reply a week ago from one Riddle Raw, and I think I sent them a message which was something like, "Do you fancy getting stoned and eating yogurt?" I think was the message I sent him, and he replied on the 18th of April. After I sent that, must have been halfway through December. He put, "Every day of my life, I fancy that, bro." There it is, verified.
If he'd done it 2 days later, it'd been so much more appropriate.
Never mind.
There we have it. Either he doesn't get any DMs whatsoever, or he just spent an entire day going through all of them.
Is that 2 replies that you've got in total now?
2 replies, one from Mojo, one from Riddle.
Good old Mojo.
I won't worry too much about him having his time replying. He's got a lot to deal with right now. Like the views, drink the booze, AEW Dynamite. Hangman Page comes out for the opening match against Brian Cage, but is jumped by Team Taz during his entrance. The Dark Order make the save, but the ambush takes its toll on Hangman, who loses to a dominant Cage in just 5 minutes. Mein Gott. I was rather shocked when I saw this, but then I reminded, no, wait, Matthew's storytelling. He's been attacked. Right. You know, if he hadn't been attacked, what would have happened? Tune in next week to find out. So I'm all right with it.
I'm all right with it.
Yeah, I was shocked as well, but yeah, if you take into account the old attack at the start of the thing, which, by the way, I was happy to see because finally Team Taz are doing something proactive rather than reactive, eh? Bloody hell. Although I was let down by Hook's attire this week. He came out looking like that fella who was on the bicycle on SmackDown in like 2011, who became Sin Cara. I've forgotten his name. Hunico. Was that the one?
I think so.
So you think Hook should wear less clothes?
No, he should wear more clothes like last week rather than this week.
I see. I was going to say, like, half of Twitter would agree with that.
What, Hooky Drip Drip is what we're after, I think.
Oh, no.
Yes.
That's a surname.
Half of Twitter would also... No.
The Young Bucks beat the Seidel brothers while healing it up, including the Bella's twin magic and a Johnny Cage punch to the nether regions. There we go, a timely reference.
Matt Jackson. Matt Jackson is a Poundland Seth Rollins.
Go on.
The jacket? He's just nicked his jacket, hasn't he? He's got the beard there, and he's got the similar kind of long, dark hair. But yeah, Poundland. Wish.com version of Seth Rollins. Matt Jackson. That's a controversial statement. But,
yes, it is. Say more.
I think Rick Knox needs to be sacked by All Elite Wrestling because he is a terrible, terrible referee. Not just like in the kayfabe of things, obviously by what we see, just in the storytelling and whatnot. Because tag team matches in AEW never ever follow the rules, but this one, he always has a fantastic knack of looking the wrong way at exactly the right time. Does Rick Knox? But this week, with a Matt and Nick Jackson twin magic spot. And then when he realizes what's happened, he still does nothing about it. Something needs to be done about this. That is unacceptable from Rick Knox. Unacceptable.
Rick Knox is a nerd enabler, is what he is.
He's a friend of the nerds.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's a nerd himself, but he's certainly... What do they call? An ancillary member of the nerds.
He's
the retribution to the Young Bucks. Their business. Yeah, a bit silly.
They were still pushing the narrative. I've got like I think it was Excalibur said that the Young Bucks have always been confident, but the way they carry themselves now is disgusting and needs to go.
It's exactly the same.
But they've been to ASOS. Sorry, that's the difference, lads. That's what we need to.
They've been to ASOS.
Been to ASOS. I was trying to think of a trendy clothes brand where fat men like me can't shop because an outfits, and I thought of ASOS.
ASOS have got a big and tall range.
Have they? Oh, I'll have to go there then.
I've never. No, what is it? It's certain. You know, ASOS is just like a collection of things. I think that some of them have a big and tall option that I have to be careful not to tick because I'm not tall. But yeah.
I was going to say, I can relate to all of this, lads. SCU come out afterwards and remind us that the next time they lose as a tag team, they're splitting up. You remember? A year ago? They insult the Bucks and their new bad attitude and are ready to challenge them for the tag team titles very soon. Ooh.
I've just got written down on my notes here. I was watching AEW late last night, right? And I've got written down Matt Seidel's reversal out of the Meltzer driver into a double thing was Ross Tweddle's move of the week. Oh dear God.
Just bring up a graphic at the bottom of the ding.
Richard, if you
Move
wouldn't mind.
of the week.
What have I written that down for? It was good, though.
Oh, I mean, this did a good job of helping the Sadal brothers. People know that they exist.
We will have to remember next week, Maffew, to ask him what his move of the week is for next week.
Ross, what move?
It's so sad, isn't it? It's so sad. I've literally got written down there, was Ross Tweddle's move of the week?
Your name's move of the week.
Just to verify. I don't know if I'll be able to do this.
Oh, here we go. Oh. Matt Tweddle's reverse of the melter driver into a double thing was Ross Tweddle's move of the week.
It's official.
Thank you for typing that out.
Let me get that. There we go.
Beautiful. Next up is Penta versus Orange Cassidy. Alex Abrahantes tries to distract the best friends by again insulting Sue, but this time it backfires. He's thrown at the ring, the referee is distracted, well, the chances there, Ross, and Cassidy nails Penta with a microphone-assisted orange punch for the win.
See, this is the level where the Young Bucks should be, on Alex Abrahantes' level. He's a nerd doing nerdy things, but he's not in the main event, therefore it's good.
Yeah.
I enjoy Alex. He showed Dwayne Leverock levels of catching prowess with the glove early on in the match. It was incredible. That's a reference I was hoping Jack would get, but I don't think he has.
Dwayne
Leverock. 2007 Cricket World Cup.
Was it a famous catch?
Yeah, he's a big
Damn.
fat
Obviously not that
man.
famous.
You know what? I'm not that big. I'm not that big on one day cricket.
That's a shame.
I'm sorry.
The reference has died.
Sorry. I will say that if the Young Bucks did more nasty things, then maybe. I've just thought of another wrestling catch that I've seen recently that I was impressed with. You know when Brian Pillman's pretending he's got a broken arm and Sergeant Slaughter throws him the microphone and he catches it with his bad arm? That's a good catch. Under pressure. Live on Monday Night Raw.
So, Jack, was that Jack's catch of the week?
No, it wasn't. Sorry for not knowing Dwayne Leverock.
Trinidad and Tobago, was it? I do believe. I've forgotten
Right.
which nation he's represented, but he's a big fella.
Who's the guy at the minute who plays for the West Indies? Cornwall.
I've got no idea.
He's like a 6'4", 300 pound. I'm not trying to describe a wrestler. He's a huge man, and he just does spin bowling. It's really funny to watch.
A big cast. He's 6'4".
Yeah.
And
But I tell you what,
teach that.
back to the wrestling. In the opening stage of this
Oh,
match,
no,
with
Ross.
all the posing and stuff.
Bermuda.
Is it Bermuda? Beg
Is
your
it a
pardon.
diving catch in the slips?
Yeah.
I've seen it. Don't worry.
Sorry if you get me Bermudas and Trinidad and Tobago's mixed up there. What am I like? But I couldn't help but think at the start of this matchup. Imagine if this was like in the era of no crowds. This matchup at the start with all the posing and the pantomime of it all, the fan interaction bit. I couldn't get it out of my head how thankful I am for fans being back.
Yeah, I agree as well.
I agree with that. I like this match. I like Pentagon at the best of times. Love him. But last week was like the setup match to this. So it was almost like the pay-per-view blow-off match, but I guess I'm not getting that. So I like them going all out. I like Orange Cassidy being 100% pulp. Sometimes he's just some pulp. This time he was all pulp. And that worked well.
I reckon he almost made Jim Ross's heart pulpitate.
Ooh.
Because there's that bit where Penta just kicked him several times in the head and then a destroyer as well. And Cassidy got just straight back up and did like the beach break into a pin and it didn't faze him whatsoever. Jim Ross was been doing cartwheels on commentary. But I thought it was a nice proper blend of silly stuff that would be otherwise known as silly something else in podcasts gone by.
Yeah.
And proper entertaining wrestling action.
Yeah. I think Jim Ross was just like snapping pencils at the desk after seeing the twin magic spot in the Young Bucks match. He's like, maybe this match would be better. Orange Cassidy came out and goes, never mind.
I was going to say, have you ever seen someone do what Penta did to Orange Cassidy where he caught him in the gorilla press and the suicida? I've never seen that before.
That was really impressive.
I think I've seen it, but I can't say where. But it was very nice seeing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Analysis. That was second place in Ross.
No.
Move of the week.
I've got the Harry Hill Ross Tweddle's move of the week.
I don't think it was, but it looked there for a second because I turned away and looked back. It looked like Ross had just sipped from a pina colada or something next to him. Oh, it's just right. Okay.
It's becoming a dirty habit of mine. It's just picking up these monster cans of just death.
Oh,
Like you drink one of those too quickly. It must be a thing with age, because I was speaking to Adam about it a while ago. He's at a certain age where he can't have a can of Monster without getting like
oh, really?
like Beavis and or Butthead. But I'm getting that way. I need to drink a can of Monster over like a period of 6 or 7 hours,
Yeah,
just to avoid the.
Yeah, shotgun a monster sounds like but you should only shotgun monsters in Doom. Yeah, doing it in real life doesn't sound like a good idea. But I used to drink one of them every day for years. I couldn't survive without one. I'm not like that anymore. But I did an unexpected night shift. It was called in last week's podcast, and like an overnight shift. So I was like, all right, well, I'll need one now. And I hate it because if you get it built up, it's fine, I guess. But when you don't have one for months, and then you have one, God, it takes ages to get rid of it out of your system.
Yeah.
So just say no, kids. The Pinnacle and Inner Circle meet in the ring instead of the Blood and Guts match. Ahead of, the Blood and Guts match next week. Tony Schiavone is there for the coin toss to decide which team gets the entrance order advantage. But Sean Spears slaps the coin out of his hand, probably because he needs it for later on. Spears, he's not very good to be fired. Spears says the Pinnacle should get the advantage because they were lured into this match and insults Sammy Guevara. Sammy replies by saying that the Pinnacle can have the advantage. He's so fired up, he wants to start the match and run through everyone.
Including the popcorn man.
The popcorn man, the boom mic operator.
On a goat! On a
goat in a boat.
Yeah.
FTR are next, and Howard cuts a promo on Proud and Powerful, telling them to warn their children that they won't be coming home after the match.
Mate, Dax Harwood.
His promos are unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's one of the few wrestlers in the world today who just feels like he's actually speaking like he would, but in just a slightly more threatening way rather than cutting a wrestling promo.
It was so good.
Sense, yeah.
And Santana Ortiz almost snap, but they stay calm for now. MJF puts over Jericho and how important he was for the start of AEW, but says he looked tired from carrying that load. It's time for MJF to put Jericho down and take his spot for good. Jericho talks up his years of experience and the ability of his team, saying that the Pinnacle are in for a world of pain and violence.
He said also, sorry, I forgot to put this in. He said some sort of metaphor that didn't quite work. He said, like, 69 was the summer of love. Well, 2021 is going to be the summer of pain and misery for you. And this match happens just before the summer. Like,
wait, you see there, Jeff? You see, you're actually blind there, Jeff.
Yeah. You don't even wear your glasses, Jeff.
I felt so bad for Sean Spears in this segment, though. Because the way that Sammy just pulled his pants, Sean Spears gives it the big one at the start, and then Sammy goes, well, you've been a failure from start to finish. Oh, and you failed in that other place. You're just a massive failure, Sean Spears. A massive failure. I was like, oh, poor Sean Spears.
Sean Spears was in character, and when this is all, we've been lured into this match, and blah, 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 kayfabe, and then Sammy Guevara went, you're not actually very good, really.
Yeah, in kayfabe and shoot, you are not very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was good, but they're like, okay, this thing's been on the pot for a while, it's simmering, it's boiling, it's making that ee noise. It's like, all right, can we have the match now?
Yeah. Apparently, though, I saw somewhere next week's not actually, because they dropped that line in commentary last week saying it was a one-match event, but apparently that's just for the live crowd or something, and they've pre-recorded all the other matches that are happening on the card or something. No, I don't know. Or maybe it's the other way around.
I saw something like that, yeah. And fans will be, there'll be some sort of refund option for those who didn't realise as well.
Oh.
It's nice of them.
Huh?
I would take the money anyway, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I was not satisfied.
I don't know if it's before the show. I'm not sure about the T's and C's.
I was going to say, if Jericho's there and they do the promo beforehand, I want to be a one thing for the show. Earlier in the night, we see the Elite in a limo talking about Kingston and Moxley, and also Omega's impressive win over Rich Swann. No, they didn't. They didn't mention it. Omega can't be bothered fighting them again, and says Kingston can wrestle Michael Nakazawa tonight instead, because Michael Nakazawa, they go, we're not scared of them, and he actually presses the horn, and they all go, ah! And that's supposed to make us cool. Yeah. And we get the match, but Kingston isn't interested in wrestling Michael Nakazawa, and who blames him? And calls out Omega. Kenny distracts Kingston while Nakazawa attacks him with a laptop, but Eddie easily fights him off. Kenny calls for his other goon, Brandon Cutler, but Moxley arrives to beat him up. Moxley and Eddie subdue Omega and threaten to break his ankle unless Don Callis gives them what they want, a tag match against Omega Nakazawa next week. What? Callis agrees.
Why did they want a tag match against him?
That didn't make much sense to me. Just looking for positives though. I like the way Kenny doesn't care about Brandon or Michael Nakazawa because who else does? To be fair, I like the way that Eddie said sports entertainment rubbish.
Eddie
calling that segment.
Eddie also tweeted saying, "Really sorry, guys. Don't know why I said the word bro. That's so 1995. I'm so sorry."
Yeah. Chris Statlander beats Penelope Ford, even after an attempted distraction from Kip Sabian, which Orange Cassidy prevents. Probably the reason why. Kip finally bumps into Miro backstage and is savagely beaten up. But then after beating him up, Miro says he forgives Kip, and it's very sinister.
Awesome. Lovely.
A good usage of Kip. They should do this every week.
They should have him beaten up every week.
Yes.
Break his arm in a door every week.
Yeah. And his interview is like, well, how do you feel about tonight? Oh, I think it'll be good. And then he'll just turn around and there's Wardlow.
It makes you wonder what Kip's going to do now, though, doesn't it? Like, because Miro's
Sign
off
on.
to the proverbial moon. What do you like, Maffew?
Oh, sorry.
I feel like he'll always have a position with Penelope as like the heel mid-card couple that everyone hates. But you remember the first singles match in AEW history was him versus Sammy Guevara. And look at Sammy. Sammy's going to be flying. And it's just a bit of a shame for Kip.
Kip won, didn't he?
I think Kip did win, yeah.
Wow.
Well, he's not winning now.
They did like a million moves in that match. I remember burned everyone out before the main show.
And luckily, AEW learned from that and never had... never mind. QT Marshall and his boys, they call themselves Applegeddon, take on Billy Gunn.
They do have a name, actually. Sorry, I forgot.
The Factory.
The Factory, yeah.
Yes. Just a factory. Make pegs and stuff. And his boys take on Billy Gunn, Dustin Rhodes, and Lee Johnson of the Nightmare Family. QT's team arrive in Cody Rhodes' tour bus for some reason, which becomes apparent soon. Anthony Ogogo isn't officially in the match, but hits a few body shots out the referee's view, which allows QT to pick up the win. Ogogo was going on Twitter when someone said, "Wow, you punch like Balrog from Street Fighter 2," and he replied, "I don't play video games, mate. I'm a grown man. That's why
That's not what I'm saying, for goodness sake." I've got no issue with people who play video games.
Tweet, but I heard Ross's voice in my head.
Ogogo is playing the Undertaker role there. I'm not. I'm my own man. That's where that came from. I like video games. I stream Twitch on a Sunday, for goodness sake.
You should talk about how much you hate nerds and gaming as you're playing games. Billy's sons arrive to brawl with the bad guys, and QT bails the Cody's tour bus. Inside is, oh my god, it's Cody Rhodes in his own tour bus.
You can see him.
Oh, God.
You can see him through the glass. Was that on purpose? Because QT is backing up slowly, and you'd think that they'd do a big reveal. Like, he'd go, whoa, it's me. But he's just there like, hello, just looking through the glass.
So, in the kayfabe, in the storyline, did QT steal Cody's bus? Because that's not a thing you should put on national TV, surely, if you're wise.
I would borrowed it.
Be getting the authorities involved.
But
then,
was
Cody just hiding in the bus?
I assumed I'd missed something, which would have explained how QT came into possession of Cody's bus.
Why does Cody have that bus anyway?
Oh, he's busy, man.
It's just a flex, is it?
He's a busy boy.
Because if wrestling has more than one royal family.
He's got it for when he's going off to do the show, the big show, the big show.
Oh, the Go.
No, not the big show.
Go Big Show.
Go Big
Go
Show,
Big Show.
sorry. And he's going off to, the shops to get stuff for Brandy for her pregnancy cravings, and just take the bus.
Yeah.
I don't know how QT got the bus. How did QT get the bus?
There's that many little segments in AEW I didn't even stop to think about. Yeah, why did QT have his bus? They didn't mention it.
Yeah,
He just showed up because I got his bus.
It.
He pressed
Do you think he'll
trial.
notice?
Got your bus.
Yeah.
Weird. I'm not buying QT Marshall in this role, me personally. I can't find myself caring. Like, it's funny when he stood there in his bowling shirt. Like, that's funny because he's like a dad. But apart from that, apart from that, it's just like, and then Cody locking in a figure 4 on top of a bus.
Because it's on top of a bus?
Yeah, it hurts more.
It's like, it's like when Paige locked in her submission on the announce table for extra damage.
Get a bat. It's a blood feud. He's nicked your bus. Get a bat or a gun or something.
We've only been told half the story here, haven't we, about the bus?
Because that's what everyone would do. If someone nicked my pen in the office, I'd lock them in a figure 4.
No, you take them up to the roof.
But the favourite part about this was, like, I nearly said, like, at a Hanson concert. Don't know where Hanson came from. But, like, when they were fighting on top of the bus, all the extras run down. Like in the Super Bowl halftime show when all the extras run onto the field, they're all like, yeah, go Cody. And I was like, oh my word. It wasn't my favourite Cody segment of all time. And I'm a big fan, but oh dear.
Yeah. You know, when they do the video package to build up to their big blow off, he'd be like, and then QT stole he crossed the line. And then they'll probably explain, like, that's right, when Cody left to go get, and what does Cody do in his spare time? Get another bad tattoo.
Cigars.
Yes.
Cigars is just, yeah.
He's getting a tattoo of his bus on his leg. QT took it. I'm like, oh, is that why? All right.
Well, I'd like to know.
Yeah, I'd like to know as well. I didn't want to know until you brought it up. Now I need to know.
I need to know why Cody has the bus in the first place as well. Like, why has he got that bus with all of that on the side of it? Like,
Cody Rhodes.
He christened it Starbus.
There's just there's just so much adrenaline in his soul.
yeah, but
Every thought
just take
out
a
of
step,
control.
just take a step back and think about stuff. Like, just on paper it might look cool, but like in practice.
You're right, Ross. It would be very silly for AEW just to put this out there and expect us to know what's happening with no build-up. By the way, coming soon, Yuji Nagata will take on Jon Moxley, which is like, it was so absurd. They put it out there. It's like, oh, by the way, like, you know, Yuji Nagata.
Yeah, Blue
Used to wrestle guys like Perry Saturn and Glacier, 98. Oh, then he's had some success in Japan, I guess.
Also a former New Japan, yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't compare to those TV title shots. And yeah, you'll be here. And there was nothing. That was it. No invisible door or whatever. Just.
Is that match just going to be loads of forearms and slaps?
And that face he pulls.
Yeah.
Maybe
this week's Dynamite was a bit weird because Tony was busy. I believe the Jacksonville Jaguars had the number 1 pick in the NFL draft last night.
Are you saying that this is when the assistant teacher's in?
Yeah,
the replacement teacher's in, and that's it. Oh,
Ross is causing a havoc.
That's right. Just Ross is being rude for no reason.
Who, me?
When before when the teacher pronounced your name wrong.
Oh, I see. It's a callback. I see what we're doing.
It was a rotten callback. It got the respect it deserved.
No, it's just my monster is wearing off, and I don't want to drink too much more. Otherwise, I'll be like for the rest of the podcast.
Oh, but the prime bit for Ross. Let's
Did
move
anyone
on
hear
then.
the fantastic call that Jim Ross made? It'll go down in history as one of the great professional wrestling calls, and it might just be my call of the week when he called what he called Nick Camarado, or whatever he's called, Big Nick, Big Tricky Nicky.
What do you call him?
Nick, the big hairy man.
He's not wrong.
He didn't say it with any sort of like irony in his voice either. It was just like, there he is, Nick, the big hairy man.
Do you think that was his note? So he writes on descriptions of who they are. He wrote that down and didn't realize he'd say it out loud.
What would they have for QT Marshall?
Apple. Oh, he doesn't even have the apple.
QT Marshall, the jobber.
The supply teacher at the school.
Yeah, he used to suck apples. Now he sucks eggs.
Cody's friend gives me my paycheck backstage.
Imagine what they got written down
Do
for
not
Cody.
insult QT Marshall, it says here.
Just Cody, the god among men. Americana personified.
I wish... No, I don't know. Yeah, I do. I wish Cody would turn heel, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, he's another one like the Bucks, isn't he? The stuff he's doing is heel. Like, a heel would have a... I know the Lex Express is a thing, but that went well, didn't it? But a heel would get a big bust like that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I'd enjoy Cody being a heel who doesn't realise he's a heel. Maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe we're all being worked.
Yeah, maybe we are. I don't think we are, though.
No.
Every week you watch AEW Dynamite and you wonder, am I being worked?
And you know what? They'll be so proud of that. the
Yeah.
blocks and them.
But
That's
we are
exactly what they want.
subtle. We are subtle professional wrestlers. We make you think. We're very deep. We're very deep.
Yeah. Like poetry, it rhymes. Darby Allin defends the TNT title against number 10 of the Dark Order. Ethan Page attacks Darby halfway through, and a conflicted 10 takes advantage. But Darby hangs in there and retains the belt. Darby and 10 hug it out. But Darby and Sting are attacked by Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky afterwards. 10 rushes back to chase them off, as does Lance Archer. But the damage has already been done. My God, there's a lot of stuff happening in AEW.
Yeah, they writhe to end the show. They're writhing. Because normally if there's a big chase-off, the damage hasn't been done. And the people getting beaten up are back up. They're like, yes. But this time the damage had been done. So, we'll see where that... There's a lot of people, isn't there?
Yeah, it can't get quite like, hang on, let me get me notes. Especially if you're Jim Ross, I guess. So what? Lance Archer's doing something with Sting, but he's not doing something with Sting. Okay, cool. Darby is just defending the title. Okay, and he's mates with Sting, right? Okay. Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, they've just been watching. So they're acting like Sting, but they're not Sting. They're a tag team. They can't be called a tag team called Sting. It'd be too confusing, so they're not going to call them that. And then everyone's going to run out. Also, the Dark Order there, number 10. And yeah. Tune in next week for Eugene Nagata.
Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky are joined with Brian Cage now as the hardest men in AEW because they are just the three men who have managed to beat up Sting.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else can do it. Even the Dark Order in this match, I know the Dark Order are nice guys and whatnot, but still, they all ran away from Sting in this match.
That's like slamming Andre.
Sting is like... Maffew, have you ever played Dynasty Warriors?
Yeah.
You know how your guy's like a foot taller than everyone else and just not with a big... You just press one button and he goes... It's like, that's how I imagine everyone sees Sting when they come up against him. Just unbeatable hero.
Like Saruman, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, just slicing the hordes away, yeah.
I did like the match, though. I like how they hyped up the Brody Lee stuff before the match, because I wasn't really aware of that, like how Brody handpicked him for the Dark Order and all that stuff. And I thought it was an interesting matchup.
I read
a large baby...
Sorry.
Go on then.
So, no, go on. No, yours was more relevant.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
I was just going to say, it's weird seeing the big strong man versus the valiant underdog babyface versus babyface thing, but it did work, didn't it? There's some serious wrestling analysis for you.
That was more relevant than what I was going to say. I'm glad that I passed it
Disgusting, Ross.
over.
What's a serious discussion doing on this podcast? I have to cut that out.
Tell you, writing these notes like this makes you think about stuff.
It does. You are forcing me to engage more than we used to. You used to be like, this happened, this happened, this happened. But we have a video series for that. So let's just move on to the local Darlow references. But no, they've gone, the pace has changed. So thank you, Ross.
You don't want to, for people who did watch them, you don't want to just repeat what you were saying in those videos, which was a weird situation for this particular segment in the podcast.
Yeah.
What was Jack going to say, though? Because I'm on tenterhooks.
Oh, I read a thing on Reddit once around the time of the Brody Lee Memorial show about someone was saying, like, no offense to anybody, but why is 10 -1's favorite wrestler? Because it's like his guy. It's like the wrestler that he likes the most. And someone said maybe it's like he sees himself as 10. He's like his dad's mate, like going into battle with, like, and he's like, they're like, you know what I mean? It was worded very well. And I remember thinking that makes a lot of sense why maybe like Brody Jr. would really enjoy 10. And I like their friendship. You've seen like posts about them knocking about and stuff. It's really lovely. So I'm a fan of 10. He seems like a very nice man.
And I like how, because when you take his mask off, I think it was when me and Jack did the AEW tier not too long ago, we learned that he sort of looks like Chris Masters.
Oh,
What's his finishing maneuver, I hear you ask? It's a bloody master lock.
I'm going to remind myself what he looks
Chris
like.
Chris Masters' son.
Preston.
Imagine that if 10 was Chris Masters' son.
That would be a turn up for the books. Oh, he's quite... When they unmask him, he's going to be the biggest babyface in the world. He's like Chris Masters, but blonde.
Fwah.
Aye.
Awesome. Chris Masters did a thing recently, didn't he, when he said, like, Chris Masters, are you coming back? Because everybody else, like MVP and Morrison, are coming back, and you around that time. And he said something like, nah, I think I'm blackballed, mate.
He said, I've not been asked, and I'm busy with the NWA anyway. But he did say...
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But he did say that he just never... They've never contacted him, so why would he turn him?
On that downer note, that was The Week in Wrestling.
Let's have a rummage in our mail bags.
Let's have a little old look in the mailbag. All right, lads. Like many, I actually consider myself to be a casual wrestling fan these days. All I tend to watch are the main pay-per-views and the odd YouTube clip from WWE and AEW. No fans in attendance, as especially have really turned me off the product, as the live reaction from a crowd really adds the emotion of a match. I agree. I obviously still watch Cultaholic content regularly, so I tend to have a good feel about what's going on for if I ever get hooked back into watching week to week. However, there are plenty of people out there who have lost interest in wrestling entirely, whether that be because of lockdown, the state of the product, or just other things in their lives taking up their time. My question to you is, what current age match segment show would you choose to show to a lapsed fan if it was your job to bring them back watching regularly? Thanks for all the work you do. Like many, your content has kept you going through the rough parts of all these lockdowns. I'm looking forward to see you all branching out on Twitch. Yours faithfully, Mr. Mo Lester. You absolute...
Does that get you? Oh, no. Oh, dear.
It's been a while since I had one of those funny names.
Yeah.
Mr. Mo. M-O-E, and then, whatever. Lester like the cheese. Cheers, pal.
Thank you, Mo.
I was thinking, that's a nice question. I'm thinking of the answer. Mr. Oh, okay.
Could you imagine if that was his real name?
Oh.
No, don't say that, Ross.
Because I was speaking about my old PE teacher, which I don't think I can actually say his name on the podcast anymore. His real he was a supply teacher, but he was like the worst kind. Like he was like a proper I'm here now, I'm going to stamp my authority on you, little brats. And it turns out his name was Richard Dicks.
Yes, you've mentioned, yeah.
So it was double D's there.
Mm-hmm.
D squared. Imagine growing up with that name. No wonder he was a bad teacher.
Oh, dear me.
But I would honestly go for SmackDown me today.
Is it got to be a current thing, or in the past few years can it be?
Current.
Current.
Yeah. Okay.
It's happening right now.
Okay.
I would go for a SmackDown episode because I think if you're going to try and get a new fan in, I think AEW, with everything that goes on, would be way too overwhelming for a new fan. So I think SmackDown strikes that nice point of storytelling with wrestling action, with stuff that's quite easy to follow along. But also stuff that allows you to think and make your own mind up.
Yeah, that's a very good one. I think I would go for AEW, but only because there's a live. It's not the Thunderdome, and I feel like the Thunderdome is just odd. But there's still you got your Jerichos, you've got your Billy Gunns, you've got people in there who the lapsed fans may recognise and remember. But I agree that some of it they just wouldn't get at all, like the Young Bucks references and stuff. They just wouldn't understand. But Maffew, what you got? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I agree with everything you lads have just said, and I would start with Roman Reigns' return last year. Come back as the head of the table, doing his promos, beating up his relatives, making them do stuff. And then Megan, the hot tag, and doing one move and getting the pin. I forgot he did that. And all that stuff there that's evolved. His character, moved on to Bryan and Owens and Edge, now Cesaro. Yeah. Storytelling, yay! It's good when it happens.
Do you remember when Face Roman teamed with Bray Wyatt and he pointed and Roman did the spear? That was cool. That was a really cool moment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Nice.
And that moment is 15 years old.
Yeah.
Hello, lads. Thank you for keeping up the entertainment over the past year or so of the pandemic. Never failed to put a smile on my face, especially Ross for giving me hope for curly-haired people.
Oh, that's nice.
Got to cut off now.
Yeah, I was going to say, what a week. My question this week is simple. If you could make any trade between any promotions, what would they be? Mine would be Jay White to WWE for AJ Styles back to New Japan, and MJF to WWE for Seth Rollins to AEW. Thanks for all you've done, Alex F. from Chicago. Ooh.
Thank you, Alex.
Trade.
I saw someone, I should have researched this before coming on here, but I saw someone in the press this week saying, I think it might have been Daniel Bryan actually, who, if he sent Cesaro to New Japan, he'd be heralded as one of the old-time greats, but because he has to be in WWE and has to do things their way, and it's less about the wrestling than it is in New Japan and all that stuff, he's not quite as prestigious on the old totem pole that he might be. So I would go for that one because I think, he would be, wouldn't he?
Who would you send from New Japan in the opposite direction?
Jay White.
Okay. There were rumours. There were rumours once he lost at Wrestle Kingdom this year that he would head somewhere else, but I was quite relieved he stayed.
In fact, no, I'd go Juice Robinson actually.
Nice.
I
Okay.
think he would fit in well, wouldn't he?
I thought you were going to go Naito because you quite like Naito, don't you?
I do like Naito. Is he missing in a minute? I saw or something.
I've not really been keeping up with it that much, to be honest.
You what?
I know. I'm
No,
thoroughly
the
guilty.
reason you're here.
Yeah, I've fallen off a little bit with it, unfortunately. It's because we ran into trouble covering it on the channel, so like I'm not as inclined to, which is sad, you know.
They've been on the warpath this week, haven't they?
Have they?
They've been after shutting down Giffers.
Oh, well then we've done the right thing. Let's not mention them anymore.
Yeah. So Jay White, people talk about him and stuff, but all I ever see, well, it used to be, I guess they'll be taken down now, but was him doing promos in New Japan, and he talks interesting.
He's good at promos. Do you not think?
I'm really serious. I'm gonna beat you up.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying he didn't get it.
Does he usually talk like that, or was that just a bad time?
What is his voice?
His delivery is everything.
He's great. I thought he was good. Maybe you saw a bad
Sassy
one.
man, isn't he?
Maybe you saw a bad one, but
I must
feel
have seen a bad one. I don't watch New Japan, so it's just him going, "Oh, I'm serious. I'll beat you up." It's only just like
that's
my
his
bad
that's
Jack
just his
voice.
accent. That's just his voice.
But again, the delivery was just like, oh, okay.
He's not meant to be scary. He's meant to be like whiny, and he's a bit of a Rollins.
Okay, right, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
That explains it.
Yeah, okay. He's not actually trying to be scary.
Right. Cheers.
No, this isn't fair.
Yeah. Out of context, I'm like, wait, is this guy real?
No, he's more in the Rollins mold than like the Roman mold.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you. Right. Thank you, Captain New Japan.
That's
you. Who would you trade?
I'm really trying to think of this. I'd like to see Cesaro go elsewhere, but I'll send Cesaro to AEW, and in return I'll send not MJF because they might ruin him. I'll send Cesaro to WWE. You know what? I will. I'll send Cesaro to AEW, and I'll send MJF to WWE just to see what the storyline is like. Just to see the summer of MJF in the build-up to him leaving to sign for WWE. Because that would be the biggest heel thing he could do. And I think he'd really make the most of it and it would be really good. Long term, I'm not thinking too sensibly, but for the short term, that's what I'd do.
Nice. I think I'd have Walter show up on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, 205 Live, main event, and if there's time, Superstars. And they can trade, who wouldn't I miss? Austin Theory. He can go to NXT UK with the rest of them.
So you've sent Walter to the rest of WWE?
Yes, to a brand that matters.
Right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
That picture they put on social media this week was funny, wasn't it?
NXT UK?
Like,
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Cut War Jason Primate off the side there, because I don't think he counts, but just all the bearded, hairy men from that side of the picture. Just all look the same, don't they?
It was a match, Maffew. It was like...
Yeah.
It was...
They are right. I mean, for a while, 3/4 of the ICW roster were hairy people with a beard and stuff, and it was like, okay.
I think whoever it is, Triple H or whoever, has a very distinct example in their mind of what a hard UK man looks like, and they've signed all of them.
Yeah. That's it. We answered all the questions, didn't we? Oh,
yeah.
Let's move on.
Oh, fair. I don't think there's a Reese's Pieces this week.
Oh, here we go. Hello to all that sail the Cultaholic seas. That's a nice way to start one. Hope you are all well, and thank you for keeping the show going through the hellscape of the last 18 months. God, it has been nearly a year and a half, isn't it? In previous episodes of the podcast, you have stated that you think the drop in quality of NXT is a result of a change to a 2-hour show. I said that. While I agree this is a factor, I feel there is a bigger issue at play with NXT. Ooh, should be interesting. In the past, NXT has never had to worry about long-term booking. The champ would reign, then lose the title, maybe have a rematch, then move up to the main roster. Now NXT has stopped being a completely developmental system for Raw and SmackDown. Now NXT has stopped being a complete development system for Raw and SmackDown. It has lost its way, and they clearly don't really know what to do now. I used to love Johnny Gargano, but The Way is just painful to watch. And right now, the weekly show is falling into the same step as Raw, with DQ finishes, distractions, and roll-up wins. So I guess my question is, what would you do to bring back NXT back to its former glory as the best weekly wrestling TV show? Mark from Birmingham. Well, thank you, Mark, for basically summarising what I said, but much better than I could say it, because you're more eloquent. How can we make NXT great again? Oh, that sounds bad. How can we improve NXT? Get rid of everybody who have dodgy conspiracy theories.
Unfortunately, I think a big reason is something that can't be easily undone, which is that they signed too many people too fast. And that meant that whenever they signed more people, they weren't bringing in as big names as they previously were. You know, when they bring in like Balor and Nakamura and Kevin Owens, and everyone was like, and Joe, and everyone was like, whoa, these are the biggest names on the indie scene. And now they've got all the big names already, or they're in AEW. So I don't know how you fix that, really. Because when you've got like, what's he called? Taylor Rust and the lads. It's not, no offence to him, obviously, but it's not quite the same. So I don't really know the answer.
I've got the answer.
Okay.
Go on, Ross.
Less no, it's not. It's, I think they've gone way. If you're gonna have a meter in terms of like gimmicks to straight up wrestlers, they've got the thing too far in the way of straight up wrestlers, like your Tyler Rust and people like that. They've got too many people who are just wrestlers, and their gimmick is being good at wrestling, and that only gets you so far with people like me who enjoy more gimmicky people. Like, give me more Cameron Grimes. I know it's a weird one, but Dexter Lumis, at least it's a gimmick. At least it's something you can get invested in. I know people on this podcast don't like them, but I find the way entertaining. Give me less just straight up wrestlers and more gimmicks. Because I think back to NXT in 2015, how stupid it was. But everyone loved it, didn't they? All the flamboyant gimmicks, they've just sort of gone away, and there's just too many I don't want to say boring wrestlers, because the wrestling matches are good, but all the wrestling matches are good these days. You rarely see a really stinking bad wrestling match. We need more gimmicks and more characters back in NXT, I think. And
keep the serious stuff as well, partially. But yeah, you're right. I think the dial needs to go a bit more the other way. I miss bad wrestling matches. I wish occasionally we'd have a stinker. Like, what was the Impact one? Was it Rebel? Was she in it?
That was... Was it Rebel? No, it wasn't Rebel, was it?
No, Rebel had that match against... what's her name?
Yeah, I'm not thinking of...
Jenna Maraska was one of them, wasn't it?
That was Jenna
that was one of them, but then there was...
Yeah, but it was Rebel and someone.
She was Kevin Thorne's...
Ariel.
Shelley
Martinez.
Shelley Martinez.
Yes.
Who did the dive? Was it Rebel or was it her?
The dive.
The slow motion suicide dive.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
Together.
I love that match.
Yes, they both cancelled each other out. It was amazing.
Glad Rebel's found her feet though. She's a great part of Dynamite.
She's a great.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
Funny for the right reasons. And like NXT, which can be improved by going back to the booking of this is just the preparation show. It's the preparation H, call it, and get it ready for Raw and SmackDown, stuff like that, rather than, well, I hope you like these people because they're going to be around for a while, because the same people have stuck around for so long. Yes, some of these people are great talents, but you shouldn't get sick of seeing them. In the same way that, Ziggler doing his thing, you're like, all right, you're great, but I don't want to watch you every week for the rest of my life,
So your answer to improve NXT is actually to improve the main roster, so it's a safe place for the NXT.
It's getting rid of more people. Not out you can, but like go to Raw, go to SmackDown.
It is weird, isn't it, wrestling, how it's changed, because you think of like Mr. Perfect in WWF like in the early 90s. Was it like 4 years or something from start to finish or less, something like that? And now you think of people who've been on Raw on the main roster for 6, 7, 8, 9 years.
Does it feel
weird
like
how it's just like things become longer in terms of, because it was very in and out, wasn't it, back in the day for wrestlers? Like you'd be one company for a bit, then you go to another company, then go back. But now people are just there forever.
Yeah, I agree, Ross. There's exactly the problem is like people who are good, but none of these classic wrestlers we think of, like Piper or whatever, who famously left and came back and went everywhere. If they stuck around for years upon end, we would have been sick of them as well.
From winning King of the Ring in '96 to turning heel and shaking hands with Vince, that was like 5 years for Austin. That's mad. That's so weird because you feel like the era of Austin it feels like it lasted for like 10 years, but it didn't. It was half that time. Oh my god!
Yeah, it was late '95 or early '96. He showed up, and then it was last match, April 03.
Wow. I
mean, like Ziggler's been on Raw for 15 years.
Yeah.
Since 09?
Roman's been around since 2012.
Spirit Squad was like 06, 07, wasn't it?
Oh my god.
Oh, if we're counting that as well, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Got time.
Oh, no. His caddy, the shower caddy for Kerwin White was 05. Yeah. So again, some of these people, I think, get confused, especially Zig. Zig was a perfect example of somebody who's like, no, he's great in ring and stuff and everything like that, but you can't. Wrestling's not designed to have these people be around forever. And that's why I say, like, a Gargano, Cole, and all the rest. Good, I liked you 5 years ago. Like, enough of you. Please go. Do something else. Nice guy on Twitch, though, Adam Cole.
Oh, he's a nice guy in real life. Yeah. Lovely, lovely man.
That's what we should go to after NXT. Just go to Twitch.
He is the very opposite of the theory that everyone's wrestling characters them with the volume turned up. He's nothing like how he is. What a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Guy of the week.
I think he made Andrew blush once. Little Andrew.
Oh, I love making Andrew blush.
Because
hey.
Sorry.
Because Andrew was doing something stupid on his Twitch streams, as he does, and Adam Cole had raided him back, and Andrew was like, "Oh no, Adam Cole seen me like this." Yeah, it was great. Because when Andrew raided them, and apparently Adam Cole's response was such a cool guy response, he just went like, "Cultaholic," or just something like that. I'm like, yes. I want to see Andrew and Adam Cole become best pals.
Can we keep Andrew?
Yeah, we have. He's a full-time employee. Yeah. So he's here. He's here to stay.
He's worked here for now 2 years.
Yeah.
I know, but like...
he's been on Raw for nearly...
I was in danger, like, if I come in one day, he goes, no, he's gone, I'm like, oh.
No, he's alright. He lives in Jesmond and that, yeah.
Lives in Jesmond?
Not in the posh bit. I think he lives on the outskirts of Jesmond.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to say. He lives in Jesmond. He was telling me about his kitchen because I've got him onto Huel, Maffew.
Oh,
and I was like, oh, you should really like invest in a blender. Like it's worth it. It'll change you forever. It'll change your life forever. And he goes, I've got enough counter space in my kitchen. I've got a toaster on there and I've got a microwave on there. There's no room for anything else.
Yeah, he's not in the posh bit of Jesmond.
No, he's not in the posh bit of Jesmond.
Oh, bless him.
I know.
Do we have to save up and buy him a shelf?
Shower. What was it? Caddy.
Put the Huel blender in the shower. on that happy Huel note, if you have any queries, thoughts, rants, or stupid names for me to say on this podcast and look like a silly person, then please don't hesitate and send them to mailbag@cultaholic.com.
It's Cultaholics.
Big question.
What a nice podcast. And there's still a little bit left of niceness for you. And that is this week's big question. What is going to happen at AEW B&G?
B&G, kids.
Yes, we've come to this point because we're so cautious about getting demonetized, despite not using nasty language, that we're just going to call it B&G.
B&G.
That's right.
What's going to happen?
Billy and Gunn, the AEW special Dynamite episode that will be happening next week. It's a special one.
Are we saying who's going to win? Or are we saying what's going to happen?
Well, let's have a quick look at the rundown while we check. SoCal Uncensored are currently taking on Jurassic Express, the Varsity Blondes, and the Acclaimed in a 4-way tag match for a shot at the AEW World Tag Team titles.
I can tell you what's going to happen there.
Go on.
I think Daniels and Kazarian will win, and I'm willing to stake.
Oh, go on.
£20 on it. Whoa. I think I'd be willing to stake that.
So if they don't, where do the £20 go?
Yeah.
I don't actually want it. But it's just the story is obviously the books.
Yeah, but it's AEW. There's a good chance that's just going to sit in the background while they do other things.
They are
maybe
introspective.
Yes, yeah. What Ross said. The Acclaimed are the ones getting a bit of a push.
The Acclaimed.
They had more of a push than Sucker. I will see your £20.
No, not 20. Can I bet you a fiver
10?
on it then?
A fiver, yeah, fiver.
Well, we'll do fiver.
It's just going to be like
okay.
the Adam Pacitti fiver where I'll get it in 2023.
No, if I lose, I'll give you the fiver.
All right, I reckon the Acclaimed are going to win.
I reckon SCU are going to win. God,
Okay.
we've done it. Don't bet on wrestling, kids. No gambling.
A fiver, though.
A fiver.
Unless
Fiver's
Shinsuke
alright.
Nakamura is 100-1 in the Rumble. That's it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Good times. Britt Baker will take on TBA, it says on Wikipedia. Wow. A new competitor.
Yeah.
B-A.
From New Japan, unannounced TBA.
I was at the you know the promotion that runs in Long Benton, MEW,
Emmy Dub.
and Prince Amin was there. Everyone, the best heel in British wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Great guy. And he'd formed a heel tag team with another lad who was like doing a rich gimmick, and they'd called themselves the Trillionaire Boys Club. And I was watching in the crowd next to Primate, and he was just heckling everyone. Like at one point, Adam Maxted got on the top rope, and Primate's just going skinny, even though Adam Maxted's like absolutely huge. And they went, "We're the Trillionaire Boys Club," and Primate looked at me and went, "TBC, to be confirmed," and he just started going TBC, which was I just thought was absolutely fantastic. So that's who Britt Baker's going to face, Prince Amin, and the other lad who I've forgotten.
Adam Max said.
No, the partner. He wasn't Adam Maxted.
Oh, he wasn't in. Oh, I see.
No, Primate was just heckling throughout the show.
Oh. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
like him.
And I don't think he drinks. So he was just stone cold sober, just like
He's
just
high on
heckling
life.
everyone. Yeah.
Kenny Omega and Nakazawa take on John Moxley and Eddie Kingston for that match that they threatened to break a leg for.
I reckon Nakazawa will have his leg snapped. Kenny will run away.
I hope they've got a reason why Moxley and Kingston wanted a tag match. They won't. They won't.
Just cause wrestling, yay!
But we also have a big old match, don't we, Matthew?
We do. Cody Rhodes is going to take on QT Marshall in a bus on a pole match.
Can't wait. It's gonna be. Is Cody actually wrestling QT?
Yeah.
He actually is, yes.
Right. Is there a stick?
No.
Hopefully it'll be better than the "I'll try my best not to hurt you" stipulation they did last time.
You know, Cody had it coming.
He did. He really did.
No, they're setting this up for the next match that they're going to have at the next special, which will be a bus house stampede match. I'm sorry. But the main event, the absolute reason for this show, the Inner Circle, all of them, Jericho, Hager, Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz, take on The Pinnacle, MJF, Wardlow, Sean Spears, Wheeler, and Harwood, with Tully Blanchard. And there's a thing or two about the type of matches. What do you think's going to happen, Ross?
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because, like, you'd think with MJF being the young and up-and-comer, he'd get the big win here, but then you remember Jericho getting hoyed off the stage. Maybe this is him getting his retribution for that instance.
It's retribution.
Oh, no, Ross.
Oh, here we
Shut
go.
it down!
Eric Bischoff, did someone say retribution? Just face.
So it's a weird one to try and call, but as far as Sean Spears is on your team, I think you're going to lose.
It should come out in baby blue. It's so obvious.
But it's going to be
I
interesting what it actually looks like aesthetically, because by the picture, it just looks like it's a Hell in a Cell heighted cage with two rings in the middle.
Heck in a cell, Ross. Thank you.
Sorry, yes, Heck in a Cell.
Thank you.
Yes. Do you remember that meat called Heck?
Yeah, you can still get that.
No?
Is it a brand called? Is it, the meat's not called Heck, it's just the brand. I'm getting
brand.
mixed up with Peck. Peck is the meat. My gran used to make Peck sandwiches.
What was it like?
What's
Sort of like it came in a tin like corned beef, but it wasn't like as dry as corned beef. I don't like corned beef.
Okay.
So I had a gelatin on the side. It was it was nice, sort of like just a meaty, like a bit like spam, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, thing comes up. A processed meat product somewhat similar to Spam.
Oh, sorry.
Gran used to love making a Peck sandwich.
I've never had peck, but have you had Spam before?
I don't think
I've never.
have,
I can't even. I must have in life at some point, but I can't think of a time when I have.
I fried some one time because it was one of these things where we're moving house and we're looking through, right, all this needs eating. All these canned goods that have been left since God knows when and checking it's still in date, ready for Armageddon. And it was Spam. And I went, anyone else want this? And he looked at me like I had 3. No, we're all right, Maffew. You know, you can have it if you want. I went, you know what? I'll try some. And I fried it. Rather tasty. Not good for the guts. I think it took a week to get rid of the smell.
Really? Oh, man.
So,
Oh, dear.
delicacy.
All I could think of when you were talking about the meat there was Josh Peck from Drake and Josh. Don't know why. Because his name's Peck, but
That'll be it, yes.
But I've never watched it. I've never watched Drake and Josh, so I don't know why.
That's
The
fair
blood
enough.
and gut match.
That is the end of that conversation. Let's go back to B&G. Yeah, the Inner Circle versus Pinnacle. I've enjoyed the promos. I think the Pinnacle have outshone them the entire time, though, so it'll be... Seems to set up, AEW-wise, that the Pinnacle are going to win.
I think Pinnacle are going to win.
Yeah.
They
John
should.
Spears.
I feel like they should. Maybe Spears will get the pinfall. He's not getting the pinfall.
Imagine
No,
that. Sean Spears pins Jericho.
For a while, we laughed, but Sean Spears was the most over man in wrestling for a month or two.
He was, aye.
10.
He was until he wasn't.
Yeah.
Give Sean Spears his Roman Reigns' gimmick, I'd say. Stack him and pin him. What's it? Stack him and whack him and pin him. What's his t-shirt? I don't know.
It's boil and mash and put him in a stew.
Bop it, flick it, twist it, and pin it.
Oh, yes.
So 90s, guys. Such a child of the 90s. Flick it. Pull it. Great. And then you miss one and it goes, oh! Makes you feel like a right idiot.
Oh, we didn't speak about the match then.
I think it'll be good.
Oh, yeah, we're doing a good job, aren't we?
We just talk about bop it. No, the match will be good. I guess lots of people will bleed. Hager and Wardlow will probably beat each other up. Oh, I'm interested to see the tactics at play. Because one of my favourite things about WWE's War Games matches is the tactics that the Undisputed Era have utilised recently in previous years. So I'm interested to see if FTR in particular are going to try and like cut off the 2 rings. Or is there 2 rings?
Look like on the picture, yeah.
So I'm interested to see I'm more interested to see how the match will take place rather than who wins almost. But I do hope the Pinnacle wins.
I just hope that we manage to get an entire episode or segment without mentioning anything about WWE or what. Oh, wait, it's a blood and guts match. Right.
Oh, that's a reference, isn't it?
Yeah.
The B&G company.
Yeah, the B&G match. That's right. Yes, thank you.
B&G Bargains.
What a shop that is.
B&M
Oh, yeah.
Bargains.
Aye. The tier of stuff they have in there is it's verging on overtaking Home Bargains in the pecking order.
Whoa. And as we all know from the Hall of Fame previously, Ross does enjoy Home Bargains.
I do enjoy Home Bargains. Because you never know what you're going to come home with. You never know.
It's a magical place.
Russian roulette of supermarkets. B&M Bargains, I think they don't need to advertise because I think everyone who goes to B&M Bargains goes and tells everybody they know, wow, it's great there, like.
Do you know how sad I am? I've started following B&M on Instagram.
So,
What do they post?
Just the new stuff they have in the shop.
mate. Just bargains.
The new stuff they have in the shop, it's unbelievable. Shall we see what we've got in store this week?
Oh, having a look. Yeah. Go for it.
You know, I'm going to see what B&M Bargains looks like on Twitter as everybody just stops listening.
B&M Bargains. For
I'll follow
Americans,
brands
sorry.
online. It's
For Americans, sorry, B&M
Yeah.
Bargains is like a budget supermarket.
Yeah. So, for example, this week they've put a picture of "It's a fact, Kit Kats are the best." Not only are they the best because they taste so damn delicious, but because they have so many different flavors. Pick up these mint chocolate fudge Kit Kats and gooey caramel Kit Kats, only £1.29. They have plates. We have this hanging light thing inside of a bird cage, it looks like. We have a drinks trolley. We have a barbecue. We have a basket. We have a hot tub, for goodness sake. We've got skinny syrup. We've got slush puppies. We've got garden furniture, cushions, bedding, a giraffe that's a plant pot.
What's a does everyone know what a carafe is? Carafe.
Type of giraffe.
My parents want to trademark the term giraffe carafe so that one day they can invent a giraffe carafe, but I don't know what a carafe is.
Holy moly. They sell, I just said holy moly there, didn't I? They sell Biscoff ice cream, salted caramel flavour, and Biscoff ice cream, chocolate brownies Biscoff ice cream.
Wow, that's huge.
Holy moly! What else did we say?
I can't believe this. Of course, I look down and see we're going to see some of the things you're talking about, the crazy Kit Kat flavours, because they've just gone off the rails with Kit Kat flavours. What do I get on Twitter? B&M stores, climb the ladder, kid, and make yourself famous. Super random competition. We just found one of these. That's always a good sound. We just found one of these WWE figure sets, and now it could go to a good home for a chance. Quote retweet, and it is the Jeff Hardy Undertaker Championship Showdown double pack.
They did just find that, didn't they?
We may have another figure. We may have another few figures too. No promises. Eye emoji, but we'll see what we can do. B&M. Kit Kat Chunky Gold. They are just. What is happening with Kit Kat? They're having a midlife crisis right now.
Sign up with the code Cultaholic at B&M and you can get 20... No, we're not sponsored by B&M.
You know when Dolph Ziggler used to come out dressed as like the Ultimate Warrior and Shawn Michaels and all the other stuff he did? That's what Kit Kat is now. Kit Kat Double Mint Chocolate Cupcake Jaffa Cake Gravy on sale now.
Stay in your lane, Kit Kat.
Before a few of us went to Japan, I was told by so many people, mainly the lads I was going to Japan with. Actually, Richard might not have, but Sam certainly. So many Kit Kat flavours. So crazy over there with Kit Kats. And we didn't get... I didn't at least try one Kit Kat when I was over there. And I regret it every day. But now, thanks to B&M Bargains, I can bring Japan to my front door.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh,
this segment has not been sponsored or endorsed by B&M Bargains. Cultaholic is not responsible for anything you buy or regret at B&M Bargains, especially not the crazy Kit Kat flavours.
Imagine if you tuned in to hear our thoughts on the B&G match.
Well, I think we've said everything we can. It's going to be... They're going to show what they can do. It's going to be interesting to see if it's going to be more proper bad games. I don't know what sensor isn't. Bad games, or it's going to be more Stadium Stampede. But I'm looking forward to it because the Pinnacle's going to win. MJF's going to get that push. He's going to go over Jericho and his other lads.
Hopefully.
And it's going to be tremendous. And they're going to keep on going up and up, which is what I want to see. MJF and Wardlow and Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood and Tully Blanchard doing.
And me and Maffew have a wager now to raise the
And we have a wager. I'm going to win £5. £5. Imagine all the stuff I can buy from B&M Bargains with that, Ross.
Oh, can the winner, if
Get the Kit Kats in.
As long as none of the other two teams wins, because then we'll just keep our money, I suppose. But
oh yeah, right, got the wrong
match.
It's
14 matches.
Right, they claimed.
But if one of us wins, I might if I win, I might spend it in B&M Bargains, see what I can get. See what I can.
You should do it on TikTok as well, because they're popular videos. On the
I don't know how it works.
The Cultaholic TikTok account. Like, here is a find in Home Bargains. Pop down to your local store today.
Fraser's
And
good
I
at the
start
TikTok.
talking about stuff. I start talking about like how vaccines aren't real or whatever. That's all I know. The TikTok videos come up. I want to be in Bargains and God isn't real. Cultaholic TikTok.
I don't know how it works. TikTok. It'd be like driving a tank for me. Like I wouldn't understand how to do it. I don't know how they make those videos.
Me neither.
Oh, I've never tried.
Well, now we
Oh
sound
my
like bitter
God.
old men. So I'll go on then, Ross.
Fraser asked someone who works for Cultaholic to do a TikTok with this guy who Tom interviewed this week, and I said, I'd do it. I've forgotten to do it, haven't I?
Oh, the entrance man.
You wanted to do it on Monday, and it's now Friday.
Oh.
Oh no.
I need to apologise to Fraser after the podcast.
Sorry, Fraser.
Oh, sorry, Fraser.
Well, now that we know that we've got work to be doing, now seems a good time to love you and leave you. Ross, apart from filming that thing you're supposed to do 5 days ago, what else is on tap for people this week?
Well, I'm actually going on holiday for 2 weeks now. I'm just going to have a week away from work, and I get to see...
lovely.
I'm going to go down with my girlfriends and see her for the first time in the flesh this year because of lockdowns and whatnot, so that's a nice thing. I've recorded a tier list with Sam where we look at professional wrestling masks from all of the companies. I've done 2 voiceovers for 2 new series coming to the channel soon. I have done a Straight to Hell with Andrew Dingle, which we get to know him a bit more. I found a questionnaire on Cosmopolitan where it deep dives into his life and we find out everything about his dark and disturbing past. And also 5 things that he would send down to hell about professional wrestling, which he struggled with because he's a positive man. And on top of that, I'll be twitching on Sunday and also playing FIFA on a stream.
Hey.
So after that, I'm on my holidays. So
Fantastic,
Twitch.tv/Cultaholic.
Yeah, good times there. Makes sense. Getting the haircut than can't see the light. Very smart.
Because that makes a
And-
difference.
Yeah. Jack, what have you got for us?
I've got a well, I did a Desert Island Graps like I mentioned at the start, but that's not coming out until like about a month's time because Tom's got quite a backlog. Don't know if you know, but Tom actually works really hard. So there's
Breaking news.
Yeah. Apart from that, me and Owen are still doing Twitch every Wednesday at 6 p.m. We're about to enter the 3rd season with Cultaholic FC as we enter the next division. It's going to be huge. The key story of this, if this was like an anime, Maffew, the key storyline of this arc would be that Gateshead are in this league and they beat us in the playoff final last year and we're coming for revenge. And it's a bit of a derby as well because we're based in Newcastle. So that's what I've got going on, really. I should have a greatest of video out now as well as this podcast goes out. So do check that out too. What about you, Maffew?
Awesome. Well, I'll be having fun. I'll be trying to recover from the fact that we're not going to see Ross next week.
Hello?
But I know he's going to be having a good time, so I'll be happy with that. And I'll just have to do what I do every Saturday, which is play dodgy old Final Fantasy games. We're on 9 this week. And isn't it a good idea to have people in the chat? Some of the lovely, lovely people we have chat, not only do they draw lovely stuff, but some of them, they have the subscriptions and they give the donations and stuff, and they stay the entire time. We have a good laugh. And you say, what should we call these characters? So right now we have the main characters as Hong Kong, as in, like people do, and Ram Ranch.
Oh, Ram Ranch.
And I didn't know what that was until I Googled it, and I'm
Yeah.
a much happier person. So you could look forward to that on Cultaholic. No, twitch.tv/Cultaholic. There we go. But you don't want to watch them. That's fine. You can still go to patreon.com/Cultaholic. Vote for those 3 fantastic things that I know you've already forgotten about. I know, it's fine. It'll be there. You'll get reminded. Memories. And also sending on your lovely thoughts to mailbag@cultaholic.com. For now, you've been amazing. Go out and enjoy the sun. You can do that nowadays. Go see your loved ones. We will be here loving you. As we say goodbye, farewell, put our hands up to the screen, and go. 1, 2, 3. Join us.
Join us.
Waggle, 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 waggle.